You are now entering a dangerous liberty zone where God-given natural rights are held sacred and exercised. This is your warning. Tyranny, fascism, and censorship will not be tolerated. Ideas will be exchanged freely. Rigorous debate and open discourse is encouraged. If you are weak and your beliefs are fragile, you should leave now. Prepare yourself. We are now live on the Dangerous Liberty Podcast. What is happening, everybody? Hope everybody out there is having a wonderful Sunday. We got a great episode for you tonight, and I'm going to bring Zeb on here in just a minute. But we're going to say hi to everybody over in the chats. We got a lot of stuff to cover, and hopefully we can do this as succinctly as possible. But I think it's going to be a challenge. I'm going to start off with some ground rules. So first and foremost, let me throw this up there. Everyone is going to be respectful and show each other some respect. They're your fellow Americans. All right, they deserve it. If you attack and call people names, you're going to be banned, and you should go over. And if that's what you're going to do, you need to go over to a leftist site. You'd fit in better there. This channel is for adults that can discuss sensitive topics and have disagreements rationally. Don't type in all caps. It's annoying. I know you're trying to get attention. You're going to get basically one chance on that, and then we're going to ban you. No cursing, not because I don't appreciate it. I do. I really do. But it's so that we don't give our social media overlords just one more excuse to censor us, which, they do at a high level already. The way that we're going to kind of run this tonight, folks, and I'm probably going to have to say this a few more times as other people come in, but Zeb and I are going to talk for a while. I'm going to have him come on and introduce himself. And then once we're done discussion, or once we open it up to everybody, super chats will be prioritized, but I will try to get to as many of the live questions and comments as we can. I'm not going to show super chats that are just disrespectful either. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So I'll go ahead and add this. I was going to add this later, but I'm going to add this now. All right, this is a live. So we may have to pull up media on the fly to address, certain things that we didn't expect to address. This platform in general it's a challenge. Like, you got to go down here, you got to click this. I got to go find the media file. You got to pull it up. I have some things kind of pre-positioned for that. But please be patient with us. If you want a live production that's snappy, you can't do it live. Zeb and I both can make those, but that's not what this is here for. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring Zeb on. Zeb, welcome to the chat, man. Welcome to the channel. I really appreciate you coming on. You and I have been talking for a couple days, and one of the things, when you made, I don't remember which video you made, but I started getting lots of texts and comments and links sent to me and all the stuff that we're both kind of running through.
Same here, dude. When you put yours out, I started getting all kind of links too. So I guess we're kind of in the same boat there. You were definitely the most recommended, and no, I appreciate you for reaching out, and hopefully we can have a good conversation. I think we can. We have so far, so I would expect that to continue.
For those people who don't know, Zeb and I have been chatting, texting one another, and talking on the phone. And the other thing that I want to do is kind of set a new standard for this, right? Like, you know what? The first thing I want to do real quick is I'm going to play a quick video. All right. We had the memorial for Charlie Kirk today. So I'm going to try to share this screen and see if I can make this happen. And again, this is always kind of a pain in the ass to do. But we are going to add this to stage. And I know that doesn't look right, but we're going to make it look right here in just a second, because I think this kind of encapsulates what I want to do with this, and most importantly, what Charlie Kirk was all about. And I will try to make this as big as possible. All right. I didn't catch that before. He actually accidentally actually says I get shot. That's interesting. All right. So my point with that, folks, is that we need to have a little bit of, I don't know, intellectual, honest discourse amongst people that you may disagree or agree with, right? And again, some of the things that both Zeb and I are going to talk about tonight, we're definitely going to disagree on some things, and that's fine. But the fact is what I can tell you is I do think that Zeb is credible. I think he is operating in good faith, and I don't think I think people should listen to what he has to say. As a matter of fact, just like I told you guys in the video, if you haven't followed him, you should go follow him. And when we have incidents like this is exactly what we should be doing. We should be getting together with people that have subject matter expertise in certain areas and getting together and talking this stuff over. And no, you're not going to have, a unified agreement across the board when you have 10 different guys that are in the exact same profession. This is why we get multiple opinions from different doctors and things like that. This is common to see. So we are going to have different interpretations. The moment that we start, if I'm like, Zeb is some government agent or Gary is some government, I just don't got the time for it, man. It's so stupid. It's intellectually lazy. And that's just not how things should be done here in the United States, and especially on our side. I think one thing that Zeb and I will agree on right off the bat is the fact that I don't think our government should be trusted. I think that we are often lied to. I got sent to a war, and I did a lot of time overseas on what I now believe was based on a lie. People are dead because of that. We see all kinds of different things that the government has done and proven that it is not worthy of trust, whether we're talking about MK Ultra, Operation Midnight Climax, you name it. The American people, time and time again, have been abused and experimented on with experiments, social experiments, chemical experiments, you name it. So let's not get things twisted. We need to make sure that we have as many people on board as possible that can give the best insight as possible. None of us are going to be right 100% of the time, but the only thing that we can do is operate with some integrity, some honesty, and try to move forward with that and get as many people giving opinions and their perspective on it as possible. That's what I think this is all about.
No, thank you for having me. I think, we can definitely agree on all of that. Even beyond some of that, if COVID didn't wake you up to what the government can and can't do or tell you and make you believe, then I don't know where you go from there. I think everybody listening right now can understand that position, especially with some of the most recent stuff coming out just in the last year or so. And I think moving forward, I think we need to operate on that premise, the premise that, well, maybe they do lie to us. Maybe we shouldn't take into account whatever they say in this situation in particular, I guess that we're going to tackle here. And so, primarily there, that's kind of where it got me started is I wanted to start at zero. I didn't want to start with any assumptions moving forward, and I just want to take it from basically what I saw and try to make sense of it. And that's kind of where I've gotten to where I am now, is it just makes sense.
Yeah. Well, let's do that. Let's what I want to do is kind of hear you present what you have to say. And most importantly, what I want to do is make sure that as many people out there as possible can hear what you have to say. And then if there's some areas where I disagree, we can address those. But again, we're going to keep things civil 100%. So don't even worry about that. Or I'm not here to freaking.
Dude, I'm fine either way, man. You send it. I can take it, dude. I can take it.
Even in that video, what I said was like, hey guys, look, I want to point some things out that I see that don't make sense to me. But the point here is not to make Zeb look bad or a fellow veteran look bad or any of these other things. Like, we need to be able to really what this is for us to peer review what we're talking about, right? And sanity check one another. It doesn't mean that, someone's stupid or they're dumb or they,
well,
in between.
I feel like I've tried to do that as much as I can. I've tried to live stream just about everything with respect to this shooting and any kind of thoughts I had on the ballistics. I've invited as many people as possible as I can to critique what I've done, and so
Yeah.
I think that's what it should be. I think and I appreciate you for allowing that to happen. I went on sit rep the other day, and we kind of went back and forth on some things. I don't know if I budged them. I think I did, but well, again, like you said, I mean, there's a lot of experts in this field, and we're not going to agree, right? Doctors can't even agree on toothpaste. How are we going to agree on something as complex as one the FBI is lying to us and then extract from that?
Yeah, or even kind of the dynamic, multivariable issues that we have with ballistics, right?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously the title and the thumbnail were a little bit clickbaity. I mean, I would argue that the ballistics don't lie necessarily, but there are some interpretation issues that come along with it.
Well, there's a problem. Yeah. Ballistics don't lie. The problem that we have, and I wasn't referencing that, so I don't think.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
The fact is that ballistics don't lie. The problem is you need to know all the information to be able to come to a conclusion of what happened. Like a couple of things that we don't know. We don't know the exact muzzle velocity of whatever round that we're talking about, right? We don't know the exact muzzle velocity. We don't know the exact trajectory. We don't know the exact projectile. We don't know, I mean, we could get into just a ton of things. And once you start opening the can of worms of, hey, maybe he was hand loading, well, it goes out the window at that point. Now we can be loading lighter loads, and we can be loading less powder charges, and it opens up a can of worms. And I think our job is to basically be able to give people, or at least what I want to do. I won't try to project anything onto you.
That's fine. Send it.
When I got on this, what I wanted to try to be able to do was, number one, in my own mind, make sense of it, and hopefully give people an explanation of what I thought was going on, right? And
same.
Number one, I think that's a valuable service that we can provide to people, because again, we're not getting the truth from the mainstream media. We're not going to get the truth from the government. And I think that's valuable to people. And I think people that are like us, that are trying to do things right and as honestly as possible, I think that's something that it's a good service, right? I think that it is beneficial and valuable to everybody else. Or we could sit there and say, you know what, I'm just going to be safe and I'm going to play this out, and then we can wait 8 to 12 months from now, and I guess we can write a book and, never risk anything of being wrong, right? And I don't think that's the right way to do it either.
Correct.
So I think there's a balance there, and we're always trying to work out what that balance is. But I'll shut up now. And Zeb, what I want you to do is just kind of take us from the beginning through the end. Talk about whatever you want. I'll try not to interrupt you, but if I do, it'll because I just want to hit something that.
I'll try to get through. I guess just where it started, right? And then try to get to where I am today, and then any holes that I leave out, you're more than welcome to ask about. So Charlie Kirk was shot. I guess my time. I'm operate Eastern time, so we're looking at 2:20. And then we go live at 3. And so the video was posted at like 2:40, 2:45, something like that. So, and we run an intro for 15 minutes. And so, dude, I had 5 to 6 minutes to even know it was happening. And so we basically brought it up on stream. I had an entire stream prep for crime statistics, but demographically split down. But anyway, brought that up, and we did like a 2.5 hour stream just on trying to assess what was going on. And so, without going to extreme detail on that, everything, like I said, everything's live streamed. It's up on the YouTube. It's not behind paywall or anything. So please go review it if you want to see the mindset that I was in and how I got here. But basically, the long shot came out first from the balcony, and it just appeared to me that he was shot with a pistol from the right, and that's kind of the assessment I made. And as it went on, I think maybe an hour and a half went in. We went back, Google Earth, tried to put ourselves in those positions. Where would I be? How would I get there? Egress. How would I get out? Maybe blend into the crowd, whatever. Try to play any possibilities that we could. And basically, we ended up one layer down from where they claim he actually shot from. And so I think that matters I'm going to get into that later, maybe not this stream, but later is I think that matters because I think it was intentional to make people believe that it was there. And this was before we even really got any saw runner on the roof. This was before that. And
Right.
that's a conclusion that we came to. Anyway, I made the video. I don't even remember when I posted it, and it just absolutely blew up. Basically, what the video covered was, I covered essentially like a 4-pixel piece, quote unquote, prior to him being shot. I said you can dismiss it. That's fine. I've changed my position on that, and then I said, what I cover next. I don't know. People have seen the video. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the initial bullet that I claimed is post exit and post ricochet, and so that's why it's a dot and not a streak. I don't think the bullet can be caught pre-impact. Now, what I covered next was I said there was a muzzle flash. Mm-hmm. It's not a muzzle flash. I had a higher quality video come through. I tried to give that to as many people that had asked for it. I had a higher quality video come through, and it is there's a video out there by Smarter Every Day where he covers sonic and subsonic rounds, and he does extreme slow motion and tries to cover the essentially the sound wave that it produces. And when he does that, it matches nearly perfectly to what you see on screen. Yeah, it's a little bit blurry, but it's a 90-degree white vortex, if you will. It looks exactly like a plane does when it breaks the sound barrier. And I kind of toss that out there to Twitter world is it possible to even catch that on stream from around? I don't think it's possible, but it did is the problem. And so I had to run with that. And so when I say it's a muzzle flash, I had a little bit lower quality. Now the higher quality allows for a reflection of the sound barrier breaking in the glass. And so now we have
real quick, so we're clear on that. I want you to explain it to me so I understand what you're saying there. So basically, are we talking about basically seeing trace or
not trace? Like an airplane. Have you ever seen an airplane flying Mach 1, like maintaining Mach 1? Yep. That's what the round is doing. I think they accidentally went supersonic. I think their intention, I think the intention was to go subsonic so they could excuse that longer range with a higher FPS, and they could excuse a lesser sound from a further distance. Does that make sense? I think it was intentionally obfuscative to the narrative.
Are we saying though that like the bullet is coming out of the muzzle and then it goes supersonic? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think I really have. I don't think I have to. I don't think you have to grant me acceleration post exit. From my understanding of how that works, there's some kind of effect, seism effect or something. But anyway, I looked at it real briefly, but just there's a lot of concepts that are going to be applied to this that aren't ballistic concepts. Like I've had to go like pretty far out of my way to apply some of this. From my understanding is like Machs are essentially phases that have to be passed through. And when they're passed through, it creates this phase, if you will, that is applied. And so whether you're going up or down through Mach, it will create that. And so I think it's an acceleration. I don't even think you have to grant me acceleration to get what I'm claiming.
I just don't know why we wouldn't see that normally on a bullet. Well, first of all, I think we'd agree that
supersonic most of the time, and it's on exit.
Yeah, I'm just saying
I agree.
I think we would agree that the fastest a bullet's ever going to be going is at the muzzle velocity. So the moment that it leaves the barrel, it is now at its peak acceleration or its peak velocity.
I don't necessarily agree with that. There's some science out there. I don't think it's been studied heavily, but once stabilization occurs, it can speed up ever so slightly. But even then, I don't think you have to grant me that.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, so like we're seeing an effect of it break the sound barrier. I just don't understand that, like, why we wouldn't see that and be able to picture the same thing once a bullet comes out of a muzzle and it supposedly breaks the sound barrier. Regardless
Because it
if
would
it's
be
going,
tied up. It would be tied up in everything else. It's already so if we shoot supersonic,
yeah,
it's already broken the sound barrier inside the muzzle, and so
Mhm.
there's no phase to pass through to get there. Does that make sense? So if we're speed of sound it's somewhere around like 1125,
depending on
1140.
temperature, somewhere between
Right.
1,000
And
and yeah.
yep. And so if it's past, it has to pass through that for it to show that effect. And so if you're above that or below it, it's just not going to.
Okay. Okay.
It's a transition phase essentially. It's a visualization of vibration. Let's say it like that.
Okay.
I agree with you. I think it sounds insane. I've never seen or heard of it being caught on camera ever.
Yeah, I don't know that it sounds insane. I'm just trying to mentally wrap my head around it.
I think it does, to be honest with you.
All right. Well, let's agree. It's not even agree to disagree. Like, let's just go with whatever. Cool. Sounds good. Move forward.
I mean, that's kind of how all of this is going. It's like, I agree. I don't think you can catch a bullet on at least prior to impact. I agree. I don't think you can, but what am I supposed to do with this? Is kind of the question. And so I guess continuing on is
Yep.
let's say entry right. They're trying to say it hit inside the hairline. I don't see that. I don't think there's enough there to make that call. I'm still gonna stick with like a lower ear. I don't even think it hit bone, to be honest with you. And so we have entry and then we have exit, and exit is depending on what a 3D renders, because I just have frames, and so I got a guy working on 3D. He's getting pretty close. And so when that publishes, I want to publish that, and I want that to be open source so anybody can go in and fly around like a creative server. Excuse me. But anyway, I think it's at a steeper angle than I initially thought, and so because of that, we have the exit out of the neck. Let's just run with it. You can call it an entry. We have the exit out of a neck. I think it's quite obviously an exit wound. Exit out of the neck, but it's so steep. I don't have my shirt on. It's so steep, it catches under the collar, pulls, and it busts through. And so when it busts through, it kind of opens up, and that's where you see that pulling,
Where the shirt kind of plumes.
Yeah. So I claimed initially that it was the wire pulling that. I don't think it is. And now I got, yeah. Okay. So we're exit at a steep angle, and then another frame has come out where it's showing the bullet as a streak on the inside of Charlie's knee. And I didn't have that until after I've already built everything out. And so that just seems confirmation to me. So we have a streak post entry pre-ricochet. And then post ricochet, we have about 3 or 4 frames. There's actually another frame that I haven't even pulled up on my computer yet that I've seen on the phone that has a round. And so all of this is a speed assessment applied to thinking, can the phone take that picture and capture it that way? And so you see the single dot, it's not a streak. It's because it's just not moving fast, but because it's post exit and post ricochet, right? So it's just going to naturally slow down. I mean, it might be going 30 FPS. I don't know exactly, but there's a lot of stuff that comes after that too. Where was I at? Well, I was going to get back to something. Oh, the earpiece.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't see an earpiece in the video, in the images prior to Charlie being shot. I don't see it. It's not there. It's quite literally not there. I mean, they're high def, high quality images, but the problem is we don't have consistent footage. We don't have uninterrupted footage from there to the shot. And so what we don't see is the mic on those images that they pull up with the earpiece in. The mic's not there. and the earpiece isn't there. So if we assume that the mic isn't there, or if we know the mic isn't there, then I think it's completely in the realm of possibilities that the earpiece isn't there. And so if we put the mic on, we just put the earpiece on. That seems pretty straightforward to me.
Real quick,
Go ahead.
I keep seeing this over in the comments, and we might as well just establish this, at least as a piece of common ground for sure. I think both of us can say that, number one, Charlie Kirk's bones are not made out of steel. And both of us find it highly implausible that we have a 30-06 round directly to the neck and us not see an exit wound or more damage than we see. Is that fair to say?
I think that's extremely fair to say. I think they pushed something. I didn't read it. I just didn't read. I didn't care to read it. I've kind of been shutting out basically everything else. I've taken a look at a few other things, specifically your video. And I was on the body armor train for a while. I initially after the first stream, I thought it was body armor, but I just couldn't get there to finish it out. Anyway, where was I at? I think we can agree. I think we can agree that like 150 grain bullet traveling at 2,500 FPS isn't just going to one stop in soft tissue or even rib bone or vertebrae bone. That's not even. I mean, that's nothing. Or just decide to change direction like 90 degrees. Like I just don't think that's like I don't even know how you entertain that.
So let's you and I kind of steel man that for just a second here. And again, I think these are like weird things can happen with ballistics. I think we agree on that. What do you think? What would it take? Whether we're saying it's a 30-06 round or not, but let's just say it's a 30-06 round, because I don't even think what they're saying happened can be explained by a frangible round. It takes too long. It takes more tissue for a frange to actually break apart. And then on top of that, it still needs more time than we have from here to here. I mean, it's 10 inches, folks, not even probably. Mine and,
primarily
neck, maybe 10 inches. Charlie's wasn't 10 inches. It takes more time than that to decelerate. And I just don't, man, and especially the other thing too, and I'm sure you've seen like we've shot I've shot a bunch of like ballistic gel and things like that with frange, and I got a human torso over there, ballistic gel. Even when you shoot with frange, sometimes, especially, you'll actually see pieces of that bullet still exit. We saw none of that. If it did explode on initial contact, which usually takes a couple inches for that to happen, I would still expect to see pieces of a frange bullet exit around the actual spinal column. What's your thought?
Well, you know this. I mean, if the speed of the round, granted, it does depend on what the round's made out of, but the speed of the round usually dictates, is it going to fragment or not? Mm-hmm. And they announced they recovered the bullet. So if there's no fragmentation, like it just doesn't make sense. If there's no fragmentation, how are we running 2,500?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how to make sense of that.
Look, I kind of go back to, and I'll talk a little bit more about my thoughts on the body armor thing after Zeb's done with his thing, and he can kind of sharpshoot me a little bit. But to me, the only thing that ever made sense, if we're going with that, it was a 30-06. If we're going with the trajectory, was an impact in there. And somebody give it. Let me see. A guy just recently,
blue screen.
Excuse me, made a video on that. And I think he did a really good job with kind of demonstrating what I was saying. I actually have it posted on my X profile. You guys can go check that out, and you need to go give them a follow. Whether I'm right or wrong, he did a great job in the video and definitely deserves more followers than he has. So anyways, Zeb, I'll shut up. You go ahead and continue.
I don't even remember where we're at, to be honest with you. I'm trying to, like I said, like I told you earlier, I mean, I haven't really touched this in about 3 days. I just kind of letting it sit. I've been doing family things, trying to get away from it, because I mean, I was burning at both ends for a couple of days and trying to get away from it. So it's not extremely fresh, but obviously it hasn't been that long. I mean, there's tons of theories floating around out there. I think everybody wants to think they have the shooter. I don't think we even have the shooter on camera. So that being said, I mean, there's angles that came out and basically have the head of the guy in the white shirt that they think has a pistol, a gun, a foam pistol. An angle came out where he's looking completely 90 degrees from Charlie. There's a there's people were trying to claim that the guy had a palm pistol. There's no evidence there. Everybody wants to chase the killer. Everybody wants to chase like they know who did it. And I think you should start from what we see, where the evidence is, rather than people's movements or reactions, because people are unpredictable. I think people are unpredictable, but the ballistics and the evidence isn't.
I agree. And Caseman, I am skeptical of all information. However, 5 minutes, I found 4 hunters who shot deer with 30-06 and didn't have an exit wound. You're right. You can definitely shoot a deer and not have an exit wound. I doubt, number one, a deer hide is not human skin or human flesh, and I doubt you'd be a lot harder pressed to find someone that shot a deer in the neck and still not have an exit wound. But we still can't even compare a deer neck, a freaking animal that walks around on all fours and with his neck projected has a lot more muscle tissue, a lot more dense fibers than a human being that has, and Charlie was, pretty skinny. He's not in there pumping iron. He wasn't out there pumping iron all the time. So I think there's a big difference between those two. And let me ask you this, you were talking about, Zeb, you thought the trajectory angle was a lot steeper. In your initial video, I did see that you kind of gave an idea of around where you thought that possible projectile came from. Now it seems like you may have either narrowed it down or changed it a little bit slightly. Let's talk about that. Where do you think your proposed shooter was?
I mean, I can't place him exactly without 3D modeling. I wouldn't really want to prior to. What I can say is that I initially tried to place him shooting behind the stairwell. I just don't see that. I think that shot could be made. I think it's quite an easy shot to make. But I don't think that's it. If I had to place him, there's 2 spots. There was an audio analysis done by a guy that seems like he knows what he's talking about. That kind of places him on the second level to the right of that stairwell. It looks like it's special access or employee staff or something. Also reports that building was under construction. I think he either shot through those railings, or there's a corner there with that same building that's a little bit taller and a slanted roof from the other building. I think that shot could be made there. It's probably one of those two. I don't think there's a risk to be taking any other shot.
Okay, so
I mean, egress on the second location, egress would be significantly easier. So easy, in fact, you wouldn't get them caught on camera.
Now, is this where you're talking about, right around here?
Yeah, I would pull him back closer to the left of that table. But yeah, that's.
But basically on this platform, you're saying?
That platform, yes, sir.
Okay, so somewhere over here?
Yes, sir. And then if you go back another 15 feet,
okay,
there's a corner right there. I don't know if you're on Google Earth. Yeah, you can tilt down. Bottom right corner of that right triangle.
Okay.
And there's should be a tilt function if you click that compass bottom right.
Yeah, there we go.
And so there's like it's a sloped roof. It's really nice. And then there's that wall from the building on the other side. And I think that shot could be taken from there. It matches up to where it appears that I quote unquote broke the sound barrier. Again, dude, I know what it sounds like. So that angle's a relatively easy shot. It's from it would be back right, maybe like 10, 15 degrees from Charlie.
Gotcha. Okay.
Charlie's 3 o'clock.
Yeah. All right. So now we're talking about from somewhere around there. I definitely want to. I'll let you kind of develop that just a little bit more. Now, if he was shot from somewhere around there, my next question is how would, because there's definitely people around that area.
Mhm.
Are we saying that you're saying that he's basically using a subsonic round that potentially went supersonic from the muzzle, essentially, right?
Yes.
And so if it's supersonic, now we're going to have a much louder crack, or right?
Yes.
Would we? Okay. So from there, how do we get a shot off without people in his vicinity seeing or hearing it?
We don't. We have reports. We have multiple people. I think 5 or 6 I've posted that have said the shot sounded a lot closer than on the roof. Now the problem is you're sitting in an amphitheater, which is literally built. It's a bowl of concrete, is literally built to reverberate sound, and so there's one video that has sound that's beyond that bowl, and that's probably your most accurate. And so that's plotted, and it essentially puts you where we're assuming that he is from ballistics. I didn't even use audio to get my answer. I actually have confirmation from a second audio source that came to the exact same conclusion with no. I mean, he just came to me with no contact across the board until earlier today. So, I mean, that's 2 audio confirmations. Could they be off? Probably, maybe. I'm not sure, but I mean, they seem like good guys. So from there, I mean, I think it's reasonable to assume.
Yeah, I'll just give my perspective, and this is on audio stuff, and this is trying to be as generous to everybody out there as possible. Right after Butler, where this is the first time I dipped my toe into the idea of basically audio triangulation. Right, I had no less than 5 or 6 companies. Like, this is what they do professionally. Contact me. They were using the same data sets. This went on for like well over a week, and they were analyzing all this stuff. And at the end of it, after spending, I bet I spent 15 hours on the phone with the these different companies and these different people. At the end of it, all of them came to very drastic conclusions. Like, 2 of them said that there was 2 firing positions. One of them said there was 3 firing positions. One of them, I don't know what to think about the audio triangulation side.
I think there was 3. I think there's 3 shot positions if you're including Secret Service.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Secret Service. Yeah.
But no, I agree with you. I mean, I think the audio is hard to deal with. I think it's extremely hard to deal with, specifically given you're sitting in a bowl of concrete. Yeah, no, that's why I didn't even touch the audio. I didn't use the audio. I mean, I went frame by frame. I just I turned the sound all the way down. I didn't even touch sound audio until after I came to the conclusion, and then somebody from audio sent me things, because I'm not an audio guy. I can't break it down, so I didn't even try.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Let's talk about, so basically that streak that we see by his knee. I know what you're talking about. I don't know if you have it where you can pull it up or whatever else, but so you feel like that is a bullet that has now exited and is now decelerating?
Yes, I think it's on exit prior to ricochet,
and it's still decelerating, obviously.
Correct.
Yeah,
I think it's on exit prior to ricochet. See, I didn't even have that until, I don't know, 2 days. Well, I guess it would be 4 days ago now.
Yeah. So my only problem with that, I mean, I've talked to several different videographers and photographers, and their feeling with that is, basically we're looking at, and you guys can AI this too. You're basically looking at a projectile. If it's going to be caught in a frame like that, we're talking less than 5 miles per hour is what we're talking about. And really the exact answer that Grok gave me was 2 point something miles per hour. Given what the average phone is looking at, the frame rate, the aperture settings, and or the shutter speed. So that would be interesting to get someone that has a little bit of professional opinion on that, on whether or not that could actually be a projectile that has exited.
I mean, I can grant you that. I can grant you that it's not. That's fine.
I got you. Yep. Fair enough.
Like I said, I mean, I didn't need that. It's just the right frame. It's the right spot. It's like, okay, it's there.
So besides whether or not, basically you're saying, hey, this is an exit wound. And again, I kind of disagree with you on that. Not kind of, I mean, I disagree with you on that, but it's, it is what it is. What do you feel like is the few things as far as actual evidence goes that says, hey, this theory is correct? What's the most prevalent evidence that we have on that?
It just makes sense. I mean, there's no other theory that even makes sense to me.
Okay.
There's nothing. I don't see how you get to some of these other theories. Like,
I think I'm with you on it.
I mean, we could run down all of them. I mean, they're all out there. We can run down all of them, and I don't see how you get there. And I'm not saying they're wrong necessarily. I don't see what they see.
I'm with you on that. And yeah, let's just kind of go through some of these things that are being proposed. I think as we've gone along, as time has progressed, like, it feels to me that these theories are getting a little bit more and more preposterous. Like, what do you think right now is like the most preposterous theory that you've kind of heard and seen?
Dude, they're floating drones, they're floating mics, blowing up mics, they're blowing up earbuds, they're floating. I mean, I think White Shirt's insane, given that we have a full video of his face facing the other way. 1, 2, you don't hip fire that. Also on top of that, I mean, you have palm pistol. You don't hip fire that. I mean, the craziest theory is that he shot from the roof, to be quite honest with you.
Okay.
So
I don't know if that's the craziest one, but
no, I'm just kidding. I know, a little,
I hear what
a little
you're
rhetoric there. I'm having fun over here, but yeah, I just don't.
Well, I haven't bounced this off anybody else. It's kind of like in our world, right? And so let me ask you this. What do you think the likelihood or the plausibility of, let's go with the trapdoor one.
Oh yeah.
That someone was underneath there and they shot him up, from an upward trajectory.
I believe
What do you think points to that most likely being?
You could argue that the spot on the shirt would lend towards an extremely steep entry wound. I think there could be a case made there, which would also lend to immediate incapacitation if it was a south to north, a vertical entry into the lower part of the brain. I don't think the trap door was where people think it is. It wasn't centered. It's extremely off-centered, and so people would see that.
I agree that people would see that, and on top of that, I would also have to say then that what that means is everybody back there within his perimeter, you have to say that they're involved. So his security would basically have to be involved. Like, there's no way that door would open. Somebody would get a shot off at that proximity. Even if there's a handgun, I don't care if it was suppressed or anything else. Like, that makes zero sense to me. So take that for what it's worth. I also think the exploding mic, I think that has almost zero credibility as far as I'm concerned.
Well, we don't on the exploding mic. They're claiming the magnet went into him. If the magnet, I don't know how you get the magnet that high of a velocity without direct connection to whatever propellant you're using. I just don't see how you do that. And then 2, if that's entry, then it would just exit again almost immediately. It doesn't turn into.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't think it would.
Well, let me ask you this.
I don't know magnet ballistics either, so.
Well, I'm sure what you have seen, I'm sure you've seen door charges. You've probably worked with some explosives.
Yeah.
You've probably done some explosive breaching and things like that. So with that being said, in your opinion, do you feel like what we saw there was like a small, high explosive that took place?
No, because you would have to see some type of some movement, especially from the camera, right? They're saying a shot from the camera too. It's like you would see any kind of movement backward, right? If we have a propellant that's shooting a mass, a massive mass object, then you would have to have a counter mass to that. And the same thing would go for the mic. You would have to have a counter. Same thing for the ear. You would have to have a counter, right? A claymore exists for that sole purpose, right? You have bearings. You have your ignition, whatever propellant you want to use inside of that, and then you have some clay or mass or lead or whatever you want to have in there for that, also to kind of stop that, to project the bearings in the direction that you want them to go.
It's directional, so it has to be tamped.
Correct.
And yeah. So that just makes no sense to me. On top of that, if that was something that exploded, then why don't we see? We would definitely see if there was a small explosion by his neck. What we'd also see is a lot more damage to his shirt and some of the other, and then we'd also see blast features around the wound itself. We wouldn't just see a nice little solid hole that obviously impacted his jugular and or carotid artery. That makes zero sense to me as well. All right, yeah, the camera one too. That one gets me going a little bit because I think that's a little bit ridiculous. And look, folks, I'll tell you this right now. Anybody out there, if somebody can come on here and present a cogent argument, and we were going to have a little talk prior to, and it's not even something I have to agree with, but if you can present a cogent argument and give a presentation that isn't just batshit crazy, you can make it at least sound believable, I welcome you to come on. You can email me at
I appreciate that.
DLPodcast at ParamountTactical.com. I want to get as much of this stuff out to the world where we can say, hey, here's the facts. Here's what this person is saying. Here's their presentation. Do you believe it? Because look, I would love nothing more. I've said this 100 times. I would love nothing more than catch our government or other entities red-handed and show the world that, like, look, this is what they did, and you should not trust the government because this is the type of activities that they're doing. And they're doing, look, there's no doubt about it. There's entities and there's portions, at least portions within different agencies of our government that have no oversight. They got no control. There is no awareness of what they're doing by other portions of the government. That's a fact. We saw this with USAID, and that is just the tip of the iceberg of some of the things that they're doing out there. So, I would love to catch somebody doing some of these things red-handed.
And I would say, I think you would agree with me. We aren't denying that tech exists. We're not denying that you can't put a small pistol in a camera and fire that round. I don't think we're denying that tech exists. It just there's nothing there to say that is the case.
I would say absolutely that can be done, but what we'd also see is some sort of evidence, and physics still can't be sidestepped, right? We would see something from the camera. What I don't understand is, like, if and when we get, if we ever see the footage from that camera from Turning Point USA, are people still going to hold on to that if we're watching the footage and during the time that shot went out and we don't see the camera move at all? Like, there's no recoil or whatever else. Are we still going to say that the camera did it?
Well, I would say they've taken too long. I don't know if anyone will believe
I agree. Yeah,
it's sending out now. It's just it's too easy to doctor now. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying they would present it falsely. I'm just saying that there's a chain of custody there that is far too long to be held on to and then present as if it's real. Like, everybody knows what video can do now. It's like,
well, and that's the problem that we're going to run into with a lot of this stuff is, like, it doesn't matter if from what I found, basically the medical examiner report is whether or not that's released is completely contingent on the family. And then, of course, even if they said, hey, we want to release this tomorrow, the FBI and rightfully so. Like if they're just doing everything upright by the book, there may be information within that medical exam report that could have an impact on the current investigation. But the point is, no matter what, even if it was released tomorrow, I don't think anyone would believe it, right? And now that we supposedly look, all we have is a quote from a surgeon. We don't even know how reliable that is.
Secondhand.
Yeah, it's secondhand, be non-admissible. So I don't think that even if we got a medical exam report tomorrow that people would believe it, unless. And the problem I have here, and this is the other issue with this, is that we all suffer from confirmation bias, right? If
Absolutely.
a medical report came out tomorrow and said definitely the shot was from behind, it came from the camera, or whatever else, all right, there'd be a bunch of people that says no way, that's BS. But if the report came out tomorrow and said, hey, you know what, he was shot directly in the throat, and a 30-06 round bounced off the front of his vertebrae and shot down to his belly button, people aren't going to buy that either. So I don't know where we're at, and I think this is the point of what we do, right? We do our best, along with a bunch of other people out there, is we try to document what's going on. We try to sanity check this stuff, and then we say, hey, you know what? With this information that we have, as we've been going along this process, when other information comes out from the government or from the mainstream media, we can say, hey, this makes sense or this doesn't make sense, or guess what, guys? All of those entities are lying to us. And I think that's the purpose that we serve.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I would just like to state, obviously I'm reading chat a little bit too, but which is fine. I mean, all of my service is public, so y'all can search that up. 1, 2, dude, I've been out of this for 8 years. I haven't touched any of this for like 8 years. So, if anything comes out that is dated or whatever you want to file that under, then go ahead and do that. But I mean, there's no stolen valor here.
Yeah. And again, folks, if you're going to just make wild accusations, I don't have a problem. And again, we're going to get to the super chats here in a second, and then we'll start going through and presenting questions. All right. So I got a few things that I definitely want to cover real quick. And number one, Zeb, you can sanity check me on this. And then, of course,
that's what we're here for.
Of course, the chat is going to sanity check us. Let me share a screen here, and we're going to go to this window, and I'm going to go to this right here. All right, so let's talk about body armor for just a moment, folks. And let's talk about where I was, where I am, and some things that I want to address or at least make people aware of. The first thing I want to say is I think it's kind of funny that some of the people want to act like that him having body armor was so ludicrous, so crazy, and still so crazy. They're the same people talking about drones and cameras and palm guns and all the other things. There is a lot of good evidence, and I'm going to go through some of those things. Number one, when I first saw what took place, the only thing that when I watch that footage in slow motion, the only thing that makes sense to me, and still makes sense to me to some extent, is that we have a deflection off of the top of a plate. Now, people want to say, well, Gary, you can't see that body armor. Okay, fine. That's fine. All right. And other people want to say, well, Gary, you can't see, or you can see his nipple. Folks, this is a 8x10 plate. This obviously is a piece of cardboard, right? But this is the actual size of an 8x10 plate. These are regularly used in executive protection, amongst other things, when we're wanting low profile body armor. And as you guys can see, when I sit here, my nipple's right there. All right. And then my other nipple's right over there. So in this, when you're wearing low profile body armor like that, you need to understand that you're assuming some risk. That is a fact. Now let's talk about some other things. Number one, immediately, now pull this.
One second.
Yep.
I agree with you on the body armor. I think I was there on the body armor initially, so I don't even think it's that crazy. I mean, I would expect him to wear body armor, but
agreed.
I don't know.
I completely agree with you. So, and before I presented anything, I want you guys to see this was a DM that I had that was somebody close to his team and personally knows a person on the security detail. That person was the person that he knows in security detail was not there that day. But I asked him, I was like, hey, can we confirm that Charlie was wearing body armor? Charlie wears his vest pretty much all the time. Now I've heard Eric insist, but he refers to his favorite vest as being stealth. When I have confirmed 100%, I will let you know. You guys look at that September 12th. On this one, I didn't get it, but it was Monday. So it was this past Monday. So whatever date that was. We finally got confirmation. I said, I just spoke with a senior FBI special agent that has reviewed the initial forensic reports. Blows me away, but the official narrative is that he does not have body armor. I communicated this to one of Charlie's security guys who was not present that day, unfortunately, whose first comment was, what? And I do think that we have established a couple of things. I think it is a fact that we have established that Charlie had been wearing body armor, and I want to show you one of the reasons I think that is. So I was actually trying to get a hold of Mike, his man, I'm trying to think of his last name. His chief of staff. So let's Mike is his chief of staff. He is with Charlie 24/7, and I'm just going to play this for you. And this is from the Charlie Kirk show. This was either, I think, the day before yesterday. I think this was Friday. I found this extremely odd. So I'll just play this. You guys tell me what you think.
They said no audio.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't have any on my end either.
Oh, sorry.
All good.
Sorry, folks. I don't know why it's not giving audio. Output. There we go. I know why it wasn't giving audio. Let's go. Output chat. There we go. Chat. Let me go back to here.
Objective truths that need to be shared to the world, and he was ready to share those.
When I found out that he'd been wearing a bulletproof vest, I thought to myself, oh my God, like I didn't even know that it had gotten that bad.
Yeah.
Like in terms of the death threats, because we all.
Was there audio on that one?
Yes.
Zeb, did you hear audio? Hold on.
Yes.
I don't know what's going on with my audio. I apologize, folks. Like I said, we're doing this live.
Audio is the worst, dude. It's the worst.
Main stereo. Can you hear me, Zeb?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Now I can't hear you guys. All right, hold on.
They said they have audio, so okay.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you guys hear that audio or no? When I played that video just now?
Yes, there was audio on that one that time.
Okay. All right. So I apologize about that technical thing. It's tough to get this. All right. So again, now she's saying that he was wearing body armor. And the funny thing about this is it seems like this was a follow on from a private discussion because it's never mentioned anywhere else. Now, the other thing I want you guys to realize is, number one, like this body armor, for instance, right here, this stuff is what we call 3+. It means it will stop any sort of, it's rated to stop handgun and most rifle, not including armor piercing, right? So, but this stuff is like 2 pounds. This is like fairly new technology. This stuff is 10+ years old as far as the technology goes.
Right.
This same exact company now makes body armor that is about a 1/4 inch thick that has the same rating as this. Now, this body armor right here being thicker and less dense, it will absorb rounds. So if matter of fact, I have a very similar plate up our shop that I shot 15 rounds with 9mm. I shot like 10 rounds, 5.56, and I believe I shot it with 6 rounds of green tip before I had penetration. So it's pretty effective stuff. The same body armor, much thinner, same rating, will not absorb those rounds. It's going to deflect. It just doesn't have the mass to be able to do that. Now, what I'm also telling you folks is that there are companies that specialize in executive protection, and when it comes to body armor, where you can go and you can get a 3D body scan of body armor and you can get this done. You can get custom fit body armor. Now, I'm speculating on this part is that, do I know if they put nipples on them? I don't know, but I mean,
why wouldn't they?
You?
Why wouldn't they? Yeah.
So now the question is, well, why wouldn't they tell you that? Why wouldn't they tell you if you had body armor on, folks? Well, first of all, I guarantee you, when you're talking about expensive custom-made body armor, I guarantee you there's an NDA, because part of that thing being effective is not having general public knowledge of that. If that gets out there, and number two, Charlie Kirk may have had a business relationship or something like that along those lines. And this is all speculation. I admit it, but everyone wants to talk about the narrative, right? The government narrative, not having body armor as part of that narrative. So the other issue is if what I think we would agree, Zeb, is that if he hadn't had body armor on, we'd still be in the same place. Do we agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking a shot.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is that if it even hit him here,
right,
like, you know,
it might not have been immediate, but it would have been pretty brutal, pretty quick hydraulic.
So number one, with that being in mind, and a company that's going to specialize in custom high net worth folks that is providing armor solution for them, and folks, that technology without a doubt exists. Like, that's for a fact. And I guarantee you that technology, if you're getting it done, it's expensive and it's going to come with some sort of NDA. And I also guarantee that part of that, either because they like, if somebody I knew was wearing a custom piece of body armor, right, and they got shot, and I understand that impact, the armor wouldn't have saved them one way or the other. I'm not going to go and say, hey, this company built this body armor, didn't save them, because it doesn't matter. Folks, that's the end of that company, without a doubt. If somebody finds out like super skill, freaking, super high tech body armor is what Charlie Kirk was wearing when he died, like, that company's done for.
Correct.
I mean, that's just a fact. So there are lots of reasons why that may be hidden. I'm not saying it is, and if I'm wrong, I'm okay with that. All right, like, we still have a lot of things to discuss. That's not the point. But that's where I was, and it's, it is what it is. I don't know what else to say with that. And I do think that there's still a chance that he was possibly wearing body armor. But for people out there that don't understand the current state of the art when it comes to body armor and protection, folks, and you're saying, well, no, you would see it. That's just wrong. Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean he wasn't wearing some sort of protection. And I think that's just as factual as it gets. Does it mean he was wearing body armor? No. And I think, and I don't know if that will ever come out, whether or not that's true or not. But
I would say it is definitely possible that he was wearing body armor. So we went and saw him. I believe it was July 25th, so not even that long ago. But he has very, very poor sitting posture, and so if he was wearing body armor, most likely it was soft.
Yeah,
and to follow that up with a 30-06 ricochet is I don't think it's there.
Yeah, no, I don't think that if it was, I think we're definitely talking about some sort of hard body armor if he was wearing anything at all.
I would agree.
And the other thing I would also say, let me just add this to screen here. Because here's the biggest problem that I have with that is I still can't get over the fact when we look at this view here. And I know people want to say mics and things like that or whatever else, these cords, but that sure looks like body armor to me.
Agreed.
We see a mask that moves up. We see the shirt tucking underneath, and all of that.
I agree.
And
I came to body armor for the same conclusion.
Yeah.
I think it looks like body armor.
And if he was indeed shot with a 30-06 round, like, to me, this is the only thing that makes sense. And if he didn't have body armor on, and here's again a little bit of the irony for me is people are like, look, Erica says he didn't have body armor on. Well, if Erica comes out tomorrow and says, guess what? There's only one shooter, and it was that guy at that roof, none of y'all are going to believe her. And I think there is there's some incentive there, or some reason why we may not be getting the full truth on the body armor thing. I have since got additional confirmation of people saying that he was indeed wearing body armor, and it goes back and forth. And look, I am not sure. I'll just tell you right now, I am not sure. I'm not going to pretend that I am. I keep going back and forth on it. It's just the only thing that makes sense out of the evidence that I've seen. The other thing I did want to talk to you about, Zeb, is can we agree that basically, whether it's necklace or in-ear monitors or whatever it is, it looks like that thing goes straight back behind him?
Yes.
So if we had a side impact, if somebody shot from a fairly oblique in position, why would we see that energy transfer?
Okay, so I haven't explained this, and so again, it's a concept that I'm pulling from somewhere else to try and make sense of it, and this could be confirmation bias. You could say it was a necklace or not. I think there's 3 frames that say that kind of lend to the idea that it's an earpiece. But even beyond that, have you ever played with like tuning forks?
No, regular basis. I had a tuning fork used on my shin to see if I had a stress fracture once.
Yeah. So if you take a tuning fork and you apply it lightly to, excuse me, hold on. And you apply it lightly to like a hard surface, it will bounce off of that surface just off of vibration. And so I think the same concept kind of applies to a copper wire or whatever's within these earpieces, is that it's trying to straighten out vibration. That's what it's doing. And so when it gets hit with whatever it gets hit with, it's going to attempt to straighten out. And I think that's what we see, along with probably some temporary expansion on the inside, forcing outward force. I think those are combination pieces. And then I just think it pulls, and that's what shows as if it looks like body armor, because it's pulling going back, right? Because it's attached and it goes straight back essentially. And so when it goes straight back and the vibration is attempting to straighten out.
Just so I'm clear, what's being pulled? Are we talking about the in-ear
wire itself? Yeah. So the in-ear monitor, it's a single in-ear monitor. At least that's what it appears to be. And so if it pulls out and then goes straight back, because you can kind of see it on camera, it comes up and then it wraps back around. That's the first tell that got me. Is one of the straight on shots, you can see it come out. It looks like blood on exit. And I was like, okay, that's a blood spatter. But then it starts coming back around. And I'm like, that don't do that, but and so I was like, so I had to look a lot closer, and I found, and it just looks like an earpiece from from Charlie's right side, where Frank Turk's angle is from. And I guess I can't really explain it because I don't know. And so, like I said, I have to pull a concept from outside to make sense of it. Its intention is to carry vibration. And so if that's the intention, then why wouldn't it do that? Along with, we would want to see something on soft tissue, but soft tissue's intention is to do the exact opposite of that, not carry the thing, not carry the vibration.
Sure. So this is a picture like right before, obviously. He's already mic'd up. Yep. I just don't see an in-ear monitor. I agree. And here's the other problem that I have with that is if you go look at all of his videos out in the other situation where he's doing these campus tours, like he's not wearing in-ear monitors. As a matter of fact, to me, it doesn't make sense. Now, where you do see him wear in-ear monitors is in the studio because he's talking to producers and all this other stuff. Here, he's
Okay.
having to listen.
To caveat that,
Yeah.
most of his campus showings are live streamed.
Yeah.
And I would assume he was trying to get feedback from that, like typical if he's in studio.
Are they live streamed?
I'm pretty sure they are.
I don't think they are, man, because they kind of
I don't think it's really relevant either way. But yeah, I agree. I don't see the earpiece. I'm not saying that I see the earpiece in that. I'm saying that on the frames of the shooting, it appears to be an earpiece, and yeah, I don't know if you have those frames to pull up, but
let me
it appears
see.
to be there.
Well, the last time I showed those, we got censored real hard. That's the only reason I'm kind of tempted to not pull those up. You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. I will. Let me find that particular one.
I guess. I mean, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's two separate frames, or three really, but either way is fine. It's
you
from
have
the
them
right.
on
It's
hand?
from the right camera. I do.
Yeah, go ahead and throw it up.
All right. So we're looking at. I'll try to make this a little bit bigger for us.
Hold on. Let me get my big head out of this thing, and then it'll see it better. Hold on. Let me remove them, and there you go. Okay.
All right. So this is frame before we see any kind of reaction from him.
Mhm.
Well, it's the frame of reaction, but beyond that, it's so this is next frame, and so we see white line here, which just mirrors ear. It mirrors ear, right? So if we see pull right here, I think it pulls out of the ear here.
Yeah.
Here we have here next frame. It's very similar. It's running down, and then next frame it's still extended here. And so if you take a front shot on that too, you'll get this. And so we have earpiece pull. I don't know if you can see that on your screen, but
Yeah, I can see it.
right here you see earpiece pull here in a second. Right, this.
Mm-hmm.
It could be chain. I'm not denying that it's chain, but I don't see how you get a foot and a half of chain outside of a shirt on the right side to pull here and then come back around. I just don't see how you get that. You see, it's all the way back here from wraparound.
Yeah.
I don't see how it comes out of the shirt, foot and a half, 2 foot, if not more. And then you can go to a side angle on the same thing. Sorry. You can go to side angle on the same thing, and you have what appears to be the same. We'll call it earpiece, we'll call it chain, whatever you want to. It's pulling all the way back here. This is a solid 3.5, 4 foot, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You're all the way back behind him. That's at least an arm length. Well, I guess 2.5, 3 feet, maybe. Entire arm length behind him. And you still have pull coming down through the shirt. He had a long chain on, but I don't think it was that long. Right. And so it's still exiting here, wraps back around. So it's still inside the shirt. It's still down here, wrapping around. It's almost touching the floor here and still pulling from his shirt. We see shadow here from his shirt being lifted up. It's still pulling. It's still pulling from the mic all the way down. It's wrapped all the way back around now. We can keep going. It's here. We see it. So I just don't know how you get chain from that, to be honest with you.
Well, I think what you're seeing, honestly, and we talked about it a little bit before, I do think what you're seeing is motion blur. And I know you disagree with that, but I think what we have there is the chain that's moving at a high speed, and obviously it looks longer because of motion blur. And I have a frontal video of that and that we can see directly taken from the front of Charlie up close. Let me see if I can find those shots. Yeah, it's somewhere right around here.
I mean, we would expect to see motion blur on the direction of travel, and it's just not traveling along its axis. It's traveling perpendicular.
Well, I think we have if I can find this stupid clip. I would say that, hold on, let me try this. When you look, when you look at Charlie head on, and again, I kind of go over it in one of my videos before with the
I don't
almost.
think they can see if you're trying to.
No, I know.
Okay.
I'm still looking for the footage.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
And I apologize, folks. Like I said, this is a challenge when playing this game and going through old footage and all the other stuff. But there is, all right, let's scale this up. Again, I'm trying to make sure that we don't show more than we need to, because YouTube's gonna.
Yeah, I went a little far. Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, you're good. I don't care. I mean, I really
YouTube,
don't.
dude. YouTube will rip it in a second, man.
They will.
Dude, they love it.
People don't understand that, but I mean, that's just part of this operational environment for sure.
Well, it's your livelihood too, and you need to look out for that. So,
well, no, it's not my livelihood, and I think that's one thing that people. No, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. Like, I run a business. This is what we do.
You got some solid stuff though, then, dude.
Well, we've been doing this a long time. I mean, our primary income is training. We do training. We do. We sell a lot of firearms and firearms accessories, and we teach, tactical carbine, handgun, medical courses, all of those things. That's what we do for a living here, folks. And I do not, 80+% of my YouTube videos are demonetized. Like, there is no way to make money doing this stuff.
Especially not guns.
No,
YouTube hates guns.
No. And those are just facts that we're dealing with. That's the wrong video altogether. I don't know. I'll come to it, folks. One of my last videos, like I said, we show him it directly in front of him, and when he's actually shot. And to me, it's just so obvious that the force of everything is going directly rearward, right? And you can actually see whatever that is on both sides of his head. Whether it's a necklace, whether it's an in-ear monitor, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. What matters is, to me, it looks like the force of that is going right behind him. And if that's happening, I have a hard time understanding how you can correlate that to a shot from the flank.
How do you get that force?
What's that?
How do you get that force without body armor? And not just penetration.
We're there, bro. That's where I keep going back to body armor. I mean, that is the question of the day, right? It hits him like a ton of bricks. It hits him like a freaking sledgehammer. And then you see like this reverberation. It sounds, and if you play it in real time, there's like a thump. When
I agree, it looks and sounds like body armor. I don't even disagree with that. I mean, again, I thought it was body armor initially.
Yeah. So what we can do is, I think what would be good, like maybe we do this another time too, and like we can kind of throw some of these. I just wanted to get in here and have an initial discussion of like what
I think. I
I
mean,
want to make sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't mischaracterizing what you were saying, and I wanted to understand what you were saying and listen to it, and most importantly, let everybody else hear what you had to say.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's do this. Let's start going through some questions out there. And I agree. I'll just throw this one up there, guys. It also does not have to be a conventional bullet. I agree. Does not have to be a conventional bullet. I also have a hard time explaining that if we're talking about a frangible bullet as well. I don't know. You would still expect, with hitting a human neck, I would still expect that we would see some sort of exit wound, and or you would definitely see fragments of that bullet, because if it's going to explode there, it's not all of it's going to hit his spine. Like, it's just, what do you think about that, Zeb? What other unconventional projectile do you think?
If I'm just gonna grab all of the unconventional stuff at one time, I mean, a lot of this is just, I guess, unevidential. But even beyond that, if you're going to assassinate someone, and I've made this point before, if you're going to assassinate someone, you don't really risk something like that, especially Charlie Kirk, which I would probably put at like number 3 or 4 on that list behind Donald Trump. And so you just don't risk an unconventional assassination. Right. They took a shot at the king and missed, and see what happened. You don't do it again to the prince, if you will.
Yeah, look,
not saying they were done by the same people. I'm saying that hopefully someone that's going to carry that out would learn a lesson.
I think that almost everything being proposed, no matter how implausible that I think it is, all those technologies and those capabilities exist. I think we can agree there. I just don't understand why any sort of, state or organization would use those assets on Charlie Kirk. There's easier ways to eliminate him. There's ways to eliminate him without more vulnerabilities to exposure for them. And when we start talking about some of these other things, like, who's going to do that? And if we're saying Israel, which I'll tell you, I don't know if you guys watched the Charlie Kirk memorial, man, Tucker went hard in the paint against Israel.
I heard. I like Tucker. I like Tucker's rhetorically. I think he got pretty deep at one point. So I don't know how much I trust him, but I heard he went pretty hard on Israel, which is a very touchy subject nowadays.
Yeah. So even if it was Israel, let's say for sure Israel wanted him dead, I just don't know why they would do it there. Like, I
would also say, if someone's going to use unconventional tech like that, it's a giveaway that it's not a tranny or a groiper, right? So the unconventional tech dismisses any excuse applicable. It's a known hit from a higher entity.
Well, the answer that people will have that won't let that go one way or the other would be, well, they didn't expect to be exposed. And I just don't know how, in front of 10,000 people and 1 million cameras. Look, I don't think these people that sophisticated that would use that level of sophistication to kill somebody are also sophisticated enough to know the risks that they are, what they're risking, and as far as exposure. And I don't think that makes logical sense to me. But let's go through some of these questions. Daniel Columbus in chat is claiming Zeb to be a fraud, says he's lying about. I ain't got time for it.
It's fine, man.
Let me tell you something.
I expect it. It
look,
just comes with the territory, dude. It is.
We're gonna get the same thing for me, and I don't care. I'm
in your house right now. I completely understand that. I'm in y'all's house. I don't even know if I necessarily belong here, right? I'm out of an 8-year retirement. You know what I mean? But no,
yeah. You definitely belong here. I think you're a voice of reason in all this, and I'm glad to have you in mi casa, su casa. Yeah, look, I'm so sick of being called government this. Like, you clearly don't watch my content if you think that. It's just dumb, guys. Like, what I do, and I think, Zeb and I had the same conversation. Like, I sit down, I look at the evidence, I pay no attention to whatever narrative. And guess what? If I fall under this narrative with what I believe is taking place, or this narrative, that's where the freaking chips fall, man. Like, I don't pay attention to it, and I don't care. And a lot of you guys that are talking all this shit about body armor, mainly because you don't understand the technologies available to it. And yes, it could be wrong, but you're the ones saying, hey, you know what? You're falling under the freaking government narrative at the same time. Like you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. It just doesn't make sense. I would like to see Gary, Zeb, Nate with Valhalla work with Candace and the person who has the back footage to normalize the narrative. I think what we'll do is we'll get all of our agents and we'll have them reach out to those.
Yeah, I'll have my agent reach out to your agent.
We can definitely reach out to Nate. That's not a problem. Eli Mercer, please take a closer look at the white hat guy's phone screen, frame by frame. The dots change following the damage exactly as it takes place.
I'll address that because it's at me. I think the only way that would happen, I guess, given if my theory is true, is that if there's a phone screen out there that reflects opposite, because the reflection would be either further to the left and behind of Charlie Kirk rather than the direction of which I'm claiming the bullet came from. And so I think that should just be dismissed on its face.
Thank you, Gary, for remaining professional and unemotional. That's how men do it. Appreciate you. Yeah. And don't you guys think that, thank you, right wing gun nut. You and I can be friends just with that name alone. Don't you think that this is a better way to do this? Like, I could sit there and make a bunch of freaking videos talking about how Zeb's dumb and I'm better, and I can self-aggrandize and say my theory is better and he's an idiot and he's a Marine, he's eating too many crayons. We could say all those things, but it makes no sense whatsoever, right? And it's not productive when we can get people from different experiences, different perspectives in here. We can actually get some shit done. I pray the trial will make it clear that the bullet path off the stealth armor. I doubt very seriously that we're going to see this trial. I don't think that this trial, we'll see, hopefully. But it doesn't mean they're going to include all the evidence one way or the other. I mean, I don't think at the end of the day, from a prosecutor's perspective,
that won't even bring it up.
That even is relevant, right? It's like, no, yeah, we're going to make sure that you're guilty, and we need to make sure that everyone knows that you hit his body armor and it deflected up to his head or whatever other things that we find out. Like,
that's if he makes it to court.
Yeah, if he makes it to court. That's another problem that I've had with this too. If he was part of some grand conspiracy, which he might be, like, I don't understand why he's still walking around. Do y'all think the round could have been soft point, like a 75 grain Hornady tap SBR? Wouldn't that stay internal and not exit? And this is where we get into the quagmire of, yeah, it's possible. I mean, if this kid's hand loading, or if it's another shooter from a different location, they're using something else, like, we can't rule out all possibilities. All we can do is pull from our experience and say, hey, this is kind of typical, and then we get into atypical, and then we get into unlikely, and then we get into like almost like 1 in a billion, still possible. I mean, it's possible that somebody from 5 miles away shot a .338 round up into the air and freaking hit Charlie Kirk in the neck. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's just doesn't make sense. I don't know. Old gunfire ammunition perhaps cause yawing effect, given credibility to your keyhole effect, but it's just from the actual shot aimed at head, slower bullet, speed hit the neck. My problem is that bullets, if they're not gyroscopically stabilized, and now if the bullet is now
you
not
lose your
flying
ballistics
correctly,
entirely.
Yeah, like
you don't hit anything.
Yeah, it's
if you're yawing for 150 yards, you're in trouble, dude.
Yeah, because it didn't start keyholing there. It started keyholing about 50 feet after it left the muzzle, and then after that, we have a completely unpredictable trajectory. It's no longer gyroscopically stabilized. It's just not going to hit, what you're aiming at. It's just That's the problem that I have with that. And again, is there some other factor that we can't take into account that caused it to do that? Maybe. Not that I'm aware of. Just stop. I don't think that's true.
It's fine. I get it, dude.
Trust me, you should have seen the comments last night. It was nothing but Gary is an agent. I wish I was. Hey, you know what?
I heard they pay
an
good,
agent,
dude.
If I was an
They pay
agent,
good.
I would be right 100% of the time, all the time, because I would have all this information behind the scenes.
Insider trading. Let's go,
And
dude.
I could reel you guys in. Like, look, guys, I'm 100% right all the time. You know what? So you got to follow me. Listen to what I say. Do whatever the government tells you to do. Get the vaccine. Get all the vaccines. Right? That's what I'd be saying. Don't get any vaccines. Fuck it.
I'll grab that one if you want to.
Yeah.
He said, what was the plan? I think I touched on that really briefly. Was that the plan would have been, if it was done correctly, would been to shoot a subsonic round unsuppressed, which would then give a fraudulent idea of a further shot, because it's a little quieter with a lower FPS, and then you would assume a higher FPS, which would then extend the shot itself. And so I think it was intentionally done that way, right? So if I'm assuming a subsonic round at grant me 1200 at 90 feet, that would translate into a supersonic round running 2700 at 150 yards. And so that's what I think the initial plan was. But the problem is they accidentally went subsonic or supersonic. And if they never went supersonic, we would have nothing. They would be completely scot-free on the roof.
Don't you think, I mean, if we end up with, let's say the medical examiner comes out tomorrow and they say, hey, you know what? We have an entrance wound behind the right side of the ear and we have an exit wound at the neck. Don't you think that information having contradictory trajectories is a real problem for someone trying to get away with a conspiracy?
Yes, I agree. But I would also agree that if someone is trying to pull off an assassination at Charlie Kirk in the manner that I just laid out, they would also have access to whoever's doing the medical exam.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I understand that's extremely conspiratorial, but that's where it's led me.
Fair enough. Jake Storms, thank you, sir. The shockwave acceleration aspect isn't an acceleration so much as the projectile is moving with explosive gases and air getting pushed initially, but eventually has momentum to maintain speed. A muzzle blast falls behind.
Yeah, it's a little complex, but it's there. Again, I don't even think you have to grant me that.
All right. We had this one earlier. I pulled that one up spontaneously. Chris Padola, my issue with these alternative theories is that, as you show, Tyler has to be convicted. For him to be convicted, the ballistics have to make sense.
They would have made sense.
Well, look, I don't think anyone is saying some of this is for the public. You're going to have, no matter what, you're going to have the official narrative, and then you're going to have the truth. All right. And some of those, maybe they're on the up and up. Maybe those two things will be completely convergent, right? They're the exact same. But even within, look, there's some things that I still have real issues with when it comes to Butler and things like that. Even if Crooks was the shooter, there's things that we still don't know that is really important for the public to get out, because it doesn't come from MSM or the government. We still don't know what happened to that guy prior to. We still don't know why clearly his household was sterilized. We still don't know, or we're told that he had no social media presence. I don't believe any of that. At a minimum, that indicates that there's some sort of deception taking place. I don't think any of us We can speculate, but none of us know why that is. And that's a real problem. So that indicates a lie, right? He's still dead. This guy's going to get convicted. He's still going to get the death penalty. None of that changes. But I do think that we need to be able to point out discrepancies between what we're being told and what we see on the ground, or at least do our best to find those, if there is any. Old rifle barrel can be worn out. The rifling didn't seal the gases properly. Also didn't stabilize the bullet, causing tumble and keyhole. Same thing that we talked about earlier. If that barrel is shot out to the point to where it's no longer getting gyroscopic stabilization and it's keyholing, all right, you're not gonna make it to the target. It's not gonna get 5 feet from Charlie and keyhole. And if it's keyholing 100 yards uprange from where the shot was taking place, it's never making it to Charlie. So that's the problem that I have with that entire theory. To Smartski's analysis is independent of cartridge bullet velocity and only assumes speed of sound. Input from 7 different mics. Put the shooter 70, 90 feet from Charlie to the right. See his circles chart. Like I said, man, I've been down this road with the audio triangulation. I'm not convinced that it's good science. That's just what I think.
I think it's too hard. I mean, I tried, and so I just defer there. I mean, obviously it agrees with my position, and so I'm going to latch on to it, right? That's the confirmation bias a little bit, but I would say, I mean, I've talked to the guy in DMs. He seems genuine, and that's about as far as I could take that. And again, I would say that a guy contacted me today that's been doing some work on Reddit, completely independent from both of us, and came to the exact conclusion through audio. So, but again, the audio is extremely complex, and I don't really trust it necessarily, given the concrete bowl in the amphitheater.
Yeah, I think this is funny. Man of Steel now, corpsmen and combat medics have become. That's hit shoulder blade and some fragments exited. Yeah, he didn't hit shoulder blade.
I mean, shoulder blade's like it's extremely thin bone. It's not gonna. No.
And if we saw some fragments exit, there'd be some. And look,
well, their claim is that the bullet is still together, which is a crazy part too. I mean, if you're flying, I mean, even if I'll grant you like 2200 FPS, it fragments.
I don't know if that's exactly what he said, to be fair. I'd have to look up the exact statement. I'm not sure that he says the bullet was all in one piece. He did say
the bullet was under the skin.
Yeah.
Which is
something
like
along those lines. I don't know. That's assuming that he means the entire bullet. I don't know if he saw jacketing. And this guy's a surgeon. He's not a medical examiner. There is a difference in expertise there. Your thoughts on long guns accuracy when it has been broken down? The times I've broken down my long guns, I have to re-zero to the scope.
100%.
You cover that.
I mean, I would say 100%. I mean, as long as you don't take the scope off or like drop it from 20 feet, you should be relatively fine. I've had no issue with long guns shooting after breakdown, especially on his gun. I mean, the breakdown doesn't even remove the scope from the barrel, so it's like there should be no issue at all whatsoever with that.
And typically, and I covered this a couple of nights ago. Typically, if you remove the scope and put it back on, we're typically looking like 1 or so MOA shift. So, and again, if that guy is 140 yards,
that's nothing, dude.
Yeah, 140 yards with a 10-degree slope probably equates to about 130-ish yards. So you can have up to like a 5 MOA gun, which means at 100 yards it will shoot a 5-inch group. So at 130 yards, it's going to shoot about a 8-inch group. So an 8-inch group, if I'm aiming here, it still hits me here. Or if I'm aiming here, it still hits me here. Like
I would say, if you're running with something like that, I would say that yes, he doesn't have bipods, and the question would be, what is he shooting off of? And you could say something like a backpack, which would interfere with barrel acoustics. So you could argue maybe shooting off of a backpack interfering with barrel twist or whatever is going to affect bullet. trajectory. But I even then, I don't think it's enough at 150.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not. Gary and Zeb have watched both of your analysis on this, and it's refreshing to hear legit versus conspiracy. Thank you. Rest in peace, Charlie. You're welcome. The problem is 30-06, 140 yard, traveling 2,700 feet per second, should easily punch through neck and exit, but we didn't see it, which is weird. That's the problem. That's why we're sitting here trying to figure out alternative theories, quite frankly. And again, depending on the ammo, there's just so many assumptions that are people saying, like, we don't know the bullet weight. That's going to dramatically affect, number one, we don't know the velocity. I mean, if we get down to the point where, I don't know, again, he hand loaded, he was running 100 grain bullet at, 1,800 feet per second or 1,500 feet per second, which is crazy unlikely, then we might be able to sort of discuss what we're seeing ballistically, but that doesn't make sense to me. The fact that he would do that doesn't make sense to me. The rooftop of CS building is the obvious place for another professional pew-pew. It's 250 to 2. So this is one of the things that kills me when people say it's the obvious place for a professional.
You don't go rooftop.
You avoid the obvious place. That's the point.
Don't do that.
A sniper, other than in movies, snipers currently are not trained to go to bell towers, to go to the water towers, to go to the highest place. That's not where professionals go to. And why? Because it's the most obvious place. You want to go to the least obvious place where you still have a clear line of sight. That's what you want.
Well, I mean, rooftops, I would say rooftop isn't the most obvious place. I think rooftop is, anybody that's played like Battlefield, if you get on a rooftop, you have silhouette. You just don't do that.
I don't think most people do realize that. Like, that was a really bad spot for Homeboy to get to. I don't think people realize that. I think, and I saw that.
Yeah, I thought it was a bad spot too, but.
So, I mean, he was silhouetted. We see him multiple times. He was seen before he shot Charlie, or allegedly shot Charlie. He was seen on his egress. He was seen multiple times. So it's a bad spot to be. And you would think that, especially if he was.
Yeah. If you line up video from inside where panning, where you see him running, and video of out on the bridge where you see reaction from the crowd, and you marry crowd to crowd reaction, he has like a second, maybe a second and a half to get up, grab everything, and sprint. I just don't see that either.
I thought it was a little bit hard to be able to tell, because when you look where he is, it's toward the back of the crowd. I would say around 3 seconds. Yeah, maybe even 4 seconds, because you can kind of see the wave as people start realizing what's taking place, because you see the wave of people moving from front to back. Obviously, the people up front recognize what's happening quicker. It's less obvious to the people, and you see that, like, literally like a wave of motion. And I would say it's still like probably 4 seconds, but I agree with you. It's odd that he was able to get where he was in the amount of time that he did. 100%. Thoughts on they replaced window wrap and paved over? You take that.
So window wrap, I believe I pitched that to a couple of people. Window wrap could be a couple of reasons. One, if I'm right, there's a nick in the wrap or a nick in the window, and so if they have to replace the window, they have to pull the wrap down, replace the window, and they can't put the wrap back up because it would have probably broken glass on it. Two, they would have to print out another vinyl that exactly for that single pane. And I don't think they could do that quick enough. Two, they probably just pulled it down just to clean up the, I guess, quote unquote, memorial where they put the flag, right? You could argue that they don't want the vinyl in the background if people are going there taking pictures, or I think there's an argument there. Obviously, pavers, you have bloodstained ground. Maybe they could have put sod. I would argue that they probably put pavers down to establish a quote unquote stage, a more stable place than grass for the future. Whoever wants to play there, I think pavers are just a smarter idea on that, especially if you're having events where you have, I don't know what they have there, but I would assume like music, speeches, stuff like that. Instead, they would want concrete instead of grass, or pavers instead of grass, rather.
I do think, look, I think it's common sense that obviously there was a lot of blood in the ground. They're going to end up pulling that sod up. All of us would. If we had something horrific happen in our front yard and there was as much blood on the ground as there was, we would be removing that sod. And I do think it's not a completely far-fetched conclusion. Like, all right, we're having to cut this sod out of here. And other people might look at it as a biological hazard, all these things. Right. So it's not super crazy. It is what it is. Zeb, do this for me. Go through and answer a few questions. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick, but you pick whatever questions you want. You won't be able to display them.
That's fine.
At least you can answer them.
Yeah, I got them. Okay, so chat's saying it was a concrete pour, not pavers. Kind of largely irrelevant to the discussion. There was one that said, why can't I scroll? I guess chat's just going so fast. I mean, first of all, I just want to thank Gary for having me on. I appreciate it. I think it's been a pretty solid conversation, regardless of the position you're on. I want to thank his chat for being relatively good. I mean, I could take it either way, so it is what it is. Go ahead, throw something at me. Where's the 30 seconds of the CCTV footage? Yeah, off of him jumping off the building. I haven't really covered or dove too deep into anything beyond just the ballistic side of it. There's obviously extremely many inconsistencies across the board. But yeah, I've just been covering strictly the ballistic side of it. And again, like I've said multiple times, I've been out of the game for a little while, and I guess I came back for this. I didn't want to make that video, but here we are. Obviously it worked out. I think I have a little heat on me, but you could maybe chalk that up to something else. Excuse me, Zeb, you are close to the truth. Okay. I mean, I think I am, or otherwise I wouldn't be doing this. But yeah, you can take it, brother.
Yeah, this is Pat Hutt said, read the New York Times interview with Eric. I did. And here's the problem. So we have the inconsistencies there and why I think she might be covering some things up. We clearly see that there was a conversation between the chief of staff of Charlie and Megyn Kelly where it was discussed that he was indeed wearing body armor. I've heard from multiple sources that he was indeed wearing body armor, at least at other times. Does it mean that he was wearing it here? No, but I think we have enough. I think he was wearing body armor. Doesn't mean that he was wearing body armor the day of. I'm willing to let that go. But during that interview that's released in the New York Post, she says, I was trying to convince Charlie to start wearing body armor, and he wouldn't. That seems inconsistent with some of the other information. I find it very odd that Mike, his chief of staff, didn't correct Megyn Kelly during that interview. So that's how I feel about that.
Favorite color crayon, obviously red. Anybody says otherwise is just dumb.
They're the best flavor. There's a guy, actually one of my moderators, he's a former Marine, and he orders some stuff from us, and we always give him obviously shit because he's a Marine, right? And so he actually said the exact same thing. So on one of his orders, she went to Amazon, bought a box of nothing but red crayons.
Solid, dude. I like the big thick ones. You can get a good hold of them.
That's right. It's like the king size snack.
Yeah.
Here's video proof that soft armor catching the round out the rear.
Okay,
Steamable.com. I got you. Steamable.com / we'll have to check that out. I doubt that well, look, if it was thick enough, we could probably see, I don't know how many layers of Kevlar you'd have to catch 30-06, but if it was that thick, then it would be very obvious. So that's the problem I have with that.
There was a comment I wanted to get to that it went off the top of my mind when you walked away.
Yeah, go
ahead. Somebody said there wasn't a lot of blood on the ground. To that point, if you have immediate incapacitation along with a hydraulic leak, which is what we saw, the heart isn't going to pump, so it's going to lose pressure. And so you're going to have an initial flow of blood, and then it's just not going to pump anymore. That's why it's not squirting, right? Because you have the pressure release, which is what we see, instead of actual pumping.
Yeah, and if his brainstem was hit, his heart stopped pumping within probably 5 seconds or maybe even immediately. But the point is that he didn't continue to bleed out. At some point, we saw what we saw, and then there's going to start. And I still think that was still a lot of blood. There was still a lot of blood. There was visible blood on the ground for sure. I'm a retired police officer, certified CSI by Indiana State Police, 9-year detective, studied medical. I have an idea. Need to see coroner's report. Would love to hear it.
On the coroner's report, yeah, I would like to see it. I don't know if we will. I think I don't know how much credence it would lead to anything.
It's definitely not gonna. It's definitely not gonna put it like everyone's not gonna be like, oh, okay.
I don't think it's gonna sway anybody anyway, right? If we are assuming the FBI is lying, which I think everybody is, then why would we leave the coroner if he's easily leverageable also? So I mean.
Yeah, I think that the general perspective is that the FBI lies all the time, regardless of who's in office. And I'll be honest with you, I thought I was expecting something different from Patel and from Bongino. But then we got Pam Bondi out there constantly saying just stupid things that are clearly not true and or leading people along. We still have some problems. And it's unfortunate that the Trump administration hasn't capitalized on this win to put some people on there that have provide a little bit more transparency. That being said, I do have a problem with so many people being so impatient because, of course, the FBI that's still investigating this isn't going to release all the information. Less than we're 10 days out. Some of this stuff is just going to take time, even if it was completely transparent and legitimate, so that they can build a proper case. So that is something that's going to complicate everybody, this whole thing for everyone. I agree. I think that's where most of us, there's a lot of strange things here that have a lot of left and right variability. But I think the one thing that's really hard to explain is a 30-06 round shooting a man in the neck and not seeing an exit wound.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's insane. I just don't even know how to process that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Eric told New York Times that she was in Arizona when he was shot. Didn't she tell the media she was there with the kids? No. So this is a problem. I don't know where that narrative came from. There was and it ended up not being true. I don't know if it was a news person or where that came from. That I even heard a lot that his daughter tried to run up to him. They weren't there. They weren't on site. So I don't know where that narrative came from, but it's incorrect.
I think it was an emotional push from somebody to try and
sure
accelerate high emotions, if you will. Obviously, I think. Go ahead,
yeah,
sorry.
I mean, it's hard to grant that any sort of charity. How'd you get that wrong? Did you accidentally get that wrong? No, somebody came up with that narrative and pushed that out for whatever reason, and it doesn't make sense to me. Bullet just under the skin, hit bone. Which is it? We don't know.
Neither.
Your podcasts are the most dysfunctional podcasts I've ever listened to on this subject. That's great. So this is one of the few. Number one,
it's a conversation, dude, man. It's just
we do this live. We could make this look sharp if we did this. We produced it. If that's what you want, you're welcome to go watch Joe Rogan, Sean Ryan, something like that. We're going to be here. It's raw. It's live. It is what it is. Thank you. Actually, let me go back to this one. The strange thing is I've never seen you in a podcast skeptic. So I don't know.
New here.
You know what? Go open up a podcast, and then I'll come on. And I'll criticize that.
Yeah. There was always a lot of backseat drivers, man. It is what it is. I guess it just comes with the territory.
It does. It doesn't matter. Zeb refers to the video using a pro mic. It was filmed from Charlie's 8 o'clock position after the shot. Seems like people initially looked behind themselves toward the building. Jeb proposes thoughts. I don't know who this Jeb is. Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at again, it's
she's talking about you.
Yeah,
Is that
I get it all the time. It is what it is. Yeah. So if you look at some of the other angles of large crowd, people were just looking for the exit more than anything. They're just trying to look for the easiest, fastest way out. Naturally, I think that's what you would do. But on top of that, I am not trying to use something unpredictable like a reaction from people. Is it predictable? A little bit, but it's not enough to say it's a science necessarily. And so I just disregarded that entirely. Now I did apply some video from Frank Turk admitted, and then a couple of other people basically said that it sounded close, quote unquote, sounded close. And then a couple of them just dismissed it after and said, no, it wasn't. It was over there. But yeah, I would say, don't believe your lying ears is the problem.
I did watch the Frank Turk interview with Megyn Kelly as well, and I did think it was a little odd because she asked him, she said, did you know it was a gunshot immediately? And he said, yes. But there's probably, I don't know, a good 4 seconds where he's still looking off in the crowd and he's looking like this. So, who knows how, what his perception of the memory or the perception of what was going on at the time. A lot of things happen in those type of events and your memory plays tricks on you. But I did think that seemed a little inconsistent. And I'm not throwing any shade at Frank. I'm just saying that I just found it odd. Watched my dad hit 2 deer side by side, went through both and still impaled the tree with 30-06. No armor. It wasn't 30-06. It's a cover up.
Yeah, I was actually trying to find a video of just like a 30-06 tearing through a pine tree just to prove a point. But there's videos out there. All you got to do is Google it, like 30-06. If it was shot from the roof, it wasn't with a 30-06. It's just.
Yeah. Off topic, Gary looks low key like the head coach Sean McDermott from the Buffalo Bills. Compliments her. I'll take it as such. There is a vested interest by you for there to be body armor because you claimed it in your first video. If they want to go with a single shooter from the roof, a deflection fits the narrative. Sure, I guess. My point is, like, my assessment, every time I go back to that video, my assessment is the same. And maybe it's confirmation bias or whatever else. Guys, I'm just being real with you. When I look at this, I'm like, sure looks like body armor to me, man. And
I would agree with you. I think it looks like
everything else. And I look at everything else, and I at least believe that I'm being objective when I look at this theory, and then I look at this theory. I have already come on here and said, initially when it happened, we were like, when I first started getting videos, pictures that looks like he doesn't have body armor, it was like a minute or two before I was going live. And I immediately got in here and said, guys, I think I was wrong. I apologize. And then I went back the next day and I just looked at everything again. I'm like, man, that's just what makes sense. So I don't know if there's body armor or not. We don't know that. What I'm telling you is it's like this. I remember one of my favorite books ever is A Short History of Nearly Everything. And in that, I believe it's Hubble himself, but they're talking about an astronomer, and he's watching a freaking star off in the distance, and the star's wobbling, and he can't figure out why the star's wobbling. And then he comes up with the theory that it's because there's a planet there. So the gravitation is throwing, so they're indicating how they can detect planets at distance, even though they don't see the planets. I don't see the body armor, but I keep seeing some sort of effect that sure looks like body armor's there. And that's where I keep falling back to. And maybe there's not. And if there's not, like, I'm having a hard time explaining what I'm seeing. And, Zeb is offering an alternative theory. Maybe he's right. So that, you're right. There's an invested interest, but it's not one that I want to get to the truth. That's what I want. And if I'm wrong, then who cares? Like, I want the truth. I would rather give you the truth than confirm what I originally said. Tribute video right before Erica spoke to Charlie getting out of the car, and when he's by the crowd, the shirt looks different. I think you should check it out. Curious to what you think. I will. Only thing that makes sense with the shirt is a squib. One more very strange thing: 0 blood on any video I watched as he's being taken to the SUV, not on the ground, not anywhere. Like, video. Zeb just said this. I said this the other night.
That point.
Like, there's not going to be blood at that point. Number one, they're going to be wiping the blood off so that they can actually inspect the wound and assess the wound. And on top of that, they're also going to be, the only thing that you can do for that is they're going to be packing it. So they're shoving gauze into that hole in his neck. It's the only thing you can do. So they're packing it. And so there's not going to be a profuse leaking of blood after that.
So, I mean, even if you get hit in the jugular, dude, I mean, what do you do? Pack it, tourniquet it? I mean, you're still going to have blood loss you're going to have oxygen deprivation to the brain too. So, I mean, even if you make it to the hospital, it's going to be, anyway.
Is it ear cartilage as part of the entry wound? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I've seen some people kind of toss out video of entry in hairline. I still place it lower rear ear, but it largely irrelevant actual entry.
When they were carrying him to the SUV, they rushed him to the hospital. They carry him horizontal. His shirt was tight. Review the video for armor confirmation. You can't look. When they were carrying him to the car, one of the things I was thinking about was the fact that, well, I'll just pull this up. A couple things came.
Yeah, you would have to have uninterrupted footage, which we don't.
So a couple things too is if, and I remember carrying guys in full kit and watching guys get carried in full kit that were injured overseas. And when you're grabbing them by their shoulders and everything up, yeah, their stomach is exposed, and they literally, as much stomach as we saw was exposed by Charlie, that much stomach is exposed when they have their body armor on the outside of their clothing. So I don't think it's definitive one way or the other. And, you know, that's the way that I see that. So if you saw something like this, you can see, like, if this was all part of his shirt, or would blend into part of his shirt, something like this. I'm not even saying this is, I'm just telling you. When we're dealing with a small plate like this and some sort of carrier or some sort of armor about that size, even on the upper chest, because that's all they're going to protect. You know, all they're going to protect with whatever body armor is about from here up. That's your vitals.
Yeah. Somebody in chat said you don't tourniquet neck. Obviously you don't tourniquet neck. It was obviously tongue in cheek there, but yeah, I mean, point stands. I think you're right. I mean, now there, the side video going to the truck, you have, he basically has his entire upper chest exposed. But by that point, I would expect maybe they ripped it off or something. You just don't have uninterrupted footage is a problem, which is kind of the problem I have with the earpiece and mic.
Yeah, and I mean, we teach TCCC here, folks. Like, so we teach advanced trauma medical, right? TECC, TCCC, and the first thing that you're going to do with a casualty is assess them. So this could have went one of two ways. They could have ripped body armor off before they moved him, or they could have said, hey, this is the primary wound. They search for everything, and they could end up taking body armor off later. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if he was wearing body armor or not, but what I can tell you for sure is that right now, almost nobody outside of the people who were there know if he was wearing body armor or not either. Please check the clips I sent Zeb.
I probably
clearly shows entry under right ear. Zeb, do you see any clear entry sign under the right ear?
I don't see. Yeah, I mean, I've looked at all the DMs. I've looked at all the emails, heard voicemails, and Twitter DMs. I haven't checked Instagram or TikTok, but if anybody sent something through there, I've seen it. And if I didn't respond, then I don't see anything there. And again, I don't even know if you would see entry on that video. It's just too low quality.
I will give you that if it's moving that slow.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. Look, if it's in the fleshy part of the neck, and especially if it's a caliber if it's not 30 cal, I do think it is reasonable to say that given the quality of video that we have, it is potentially hard or impossible to see an entry wound. That I will say. I will also say that I've looked at all that footage, multiple different versions of it. I was looking for a entry wound. I could not find it. anything that looked like it, any sort of deformation, anything that indicated the entry wound. Just didn't see it. Friends of Kirk have alleged Netanyahu offered. We've heard this. I think.
No
I do think
receipts.
that there was some sort of rift between him and Netanyahu, and really the Israeli government. I don't know if that's enough to establish a motive that Israel was involved in this, but I don't know.
I think there was a motive beyond that, but on the 150 mil, we haven't seen receipts. So it's yeah. I mean, I would toss. I don't hold any value to it.
What are a few factors you think could cause a 30-06 not to have an exit wound with direct hit, assuming no armor deflection? Let's say backwards force from spinal trauma, maybe. Like, I can't come up with a reasonable explanation, and that's what we're talking about. Unless, again, if we say that he hand loaded these rounds and he went with if he was somehow shooting a super light 100-ish grain. Let's say 100 to 120 grain, and he was shooting at like 2,000 feet per second or less, maybe. But even then, folks, like, I can't stress how much like there is no flesh here. Like, I think that if I went out there with a 9 mil, and a 9 mil has about 1/7 the energy of the average 30-06 round. 1/7. I think a 9 mil would end up very possibly, if it was FMJ, very possibly we'd still see some sort of exit wound.
It's too much soft tissue, man, and
Yeah.
there's no big bone. It's not like he's hitting femur. I mean, a rib bone is like this. You go through one, maybe two of those. Maybe you hit a vertebrae. It's like maybe if he hit like 4 femurs or something. It's just I just don't see it.
Yeah, we may play around with possibly trying to replicate that. I don't know. Let me think about it. I know a lot of people want to see that. I'm not sure if it's the juice is worth the squeeze. And the other thing too is, like, there's so many unknowns, and that's the problem that I have with that. It's like I don't know how fast his muzzle velocity was, or anybody's proposed muzzle velocity, or any other shooters. I don't know what projectile they were hitting. I don't know. Like, I just don't know. Yeah, so after watching U.S. Overwatch ballistic demonstration yesterday on the channel, the only way he was able to recreate the result was the body armor theory bouncing off the top. Like, when I watched that video, the original video, and I watched that in slow motion, it sure looks like he's hitting the chest first. I'll leave it there. Enters neck, hits body armor from inside of back. The problem with that is we've talked about the deflection angle. All right, it's 10 degrees. I've recreated that. If it's coming from that and it's traveling at 10 degrees and it enters here, what we would see over a 10-inch span is about a 1.75 inch or 1.74 inch drop. And that doesn't put it on the inside of his back. So we would be talking about a, 70-degree angle to hit here and end up even at one of my
it just doesn't
shoulder
turn
bones.
like that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't do it.
Nope. Video of CK being carried away to SUV shows no armor. I agree. It shows no armor. Doesn't mean the armor wasn't there. All we see is basically about his rib cage down, and that's not where the armor would be. We would see the rib. It's going to be at the chest level, covering basically his heart and our juice box that we have right here. This is where the vitals are, and that's what armor's going to cover. There's lots of guys his size that are running around with, again, I don't know, that 8x10 that I had somewhere, but basically, even this one is oh, there it is. There's lots of guys running around with body armor with that. All right.
Yeah, chat keeps saying reported no body armor. I would dismiss all reporting at this point.
We will. Eagle Eye, personally, I watch both of you, and it's always good debate. Get together more often. Not only do I want to do some more stuff with Zeb, is I'd like to find some other people in some other professions, whether it be somebody that's an audio analyst, whether they're a medical examiner. I think this is something I try to build, like this coalition of experts after Butler, and the motivation to do so died very quickly. So if you have some of these expertise that you can lend to this case or something in the future, again, shoot us an email, DLPodcast@ParamountTactical.com. I would love to put together a bunch of people that are honest, that have integrity, that want to get to the truth, and love to have you. If you haven't noticed yet, the conspiracy theorists in the last 10 years are battling like 87 and 1. Better wake up. Did you see Cash Patel's latest tweet? I have not.
I'm assuming he's meant that wall of text. He's basically addressing me, and I guess probably some of the other theories out there. He's basically saying the FBI is searching after, looking into all theories of Bullet or something like that. I didn't read it. I skimmed it.
No, I haven't seen that. You take this one.
Wouldn't the fact that the brass was engraved suggested that they were hand loaded? As far as I know, you can't engrave a live round. What do you mean? I could mark this thing right now.
Yeah. So that's
I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, it's just brass. It's just a cartridge. You just mark it. Now, I will say that what was written on there, one was fun, one was funny. If you read this, you're gay. That's pretty funny. But on top of that, it sounds like somebody that has an idea of how that world works without actually being in that world. But I'm not going to chase that rabbit.
Salute to Mr. Gary and Zeb, Army vet here. Great show and discussion. The top level assassin or sniper could get close, undetected, and escape unnoticed. I agree. I just don't know. Like, and again, basically that's what Zeb is trying to say that he thinks happened, and maybe that's exactly what did happen. We'll follow it. So, what is your theory now, given all the evidence? The shot sounded like it came from indoors. I think we can all agree the kid isn't the shooter. Well, I don't think the shot sounded, and I'll let Zeb talk about this.
Yeah, I don't think the shot sounded like it came from indoors, and even if it did, again, the audio is so far out there to try and grab something like that. It's near impossible. Now, if we have something like Butler where we can compare multiple shots across itself, then we can say, okay, there's 2 shooters or 3 shooters, but and maybe this is a higher caliber because it has a deeper sound, but I don't, or a louder sound or whatever. I don't think on a single shot you can really make that judgment call. On top of the iPhones have a post processing that is going to give 1 issue to video and 2 issue to audio when you're trying to look at something that you're expecting to be raw.
I would tell you that you cannot identify a caliber from the sound produced on one of these phones, folks. Like, I'm just telling you right now, I do a lot of shooting, and I'm telling you, this distorts, it lowers, it changes. Like, whatever you think, when people are like, that doesn't sound like a 30-06, like, okay. And guess what? Every video that you play, the same shot, or at least the same sound signature. Maybe there's 2 shots buried underneath it. I don't know. But the same sound signature sounds vastly different in just about every single one of them. Some sound like they're suppressed. Some sound like, none of them sound like a 30-06 because it will never, these microphones don't have the dynamic range to pick up all the lows and all the highs that would allow you to say, hey, that sounds like a 30-06. Or your ears just have 10,000 times more fidelity than one of these electronic devices.
I mean, to even get close, you would need like 30-bit audio, 32-bit audio,
32-bit
to even get close. And even then, it's like, okay, you're sitting in a concrete bowl.
Please collaborate with George Webb. The energy disbursement of his shirt and chest doesn't match the wound when the wound shows up. I kind of agree with that. Do you guys think any validity in the drone being the one that made the shot kill? I think is probably one of the least credible, most ridiculous ideas. You tell me what you think, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, somebody asked me that on Twitter. I was like, is it possible? Yes, I think it's dumb. I mean, I would never chase that, especially given what we have.
Kid was recruited passive by some intel service, never fired a round, which is why they won't show images of the rounds. Whoever recruited him took the shot when Robinson was in position. Okay.
I mean, they could show the rounds. They would just, I mean, all they would have to do is go shoot a round and then show it. I mean.
Yeah. At muzzle, due to the propellant, the airspeed is 0, but ground speed is supersonic, goes past supersonic later. That's not correct. There's air inside the muzzle as well.
Correct.
You're hitting air pressure the moment that, so like Zeb said, it's supersonic
No,
basically
yeah.
prior to coming out of the muzzle. Would engraved ammo materially alter accuracy? If they actually engraved the projectile, it absolutely would change the ballistic coefficient. Would it depending on, I mean, did they take a Dremel tool to it? Did they freaking scrape on it? You know, like
if you change the container, if you change the cartridge, the density of the wall, yeah, probably. If we're talking about engraving with like a knife, I don't think it would be enough to alter that, right? Because it would change the expansion inside of the barrel at ignition.
even if, let's say he really got after it and he engraved the shit out of that thing, I don't think we'd see almost any noticeable difference at 140 yards. Would we see a difference at 600 yards, 700 yards?
That's
Probably.
if it doesn't blow up in his face.
Yeah. The value of the camera behind Charlie wouldn't only be the video, but also the audio, because it wasn't handheld. Same spot the whole time. The camera behind him wouldn't have used anything lower than a 35 millimeter lens and likely 4K. I agree with part of that. Don't you think, though, that the audio from the questionnaires mic, or maybe I would think they're feeding that audio from the questionnaires mic, but he's a videographer.
It depends on if they're just doing a direct feed or if they're locally recording. I would assume they're doing locally recording, given that they're not live streaming it. And so I guess the answer would be you would have camera audio. Camera mics are worse than iPhone mics. So
yeah, I definitely don't think it was their primary source of audio wasn't the camera, but they could have something fed into it. One thing I will say, if there's like videographers out there that really know their shit, or a photographer out there, and you would like to discuss some of the things that we're seeing from a visual perspective, or some of the artifacts, or some of the things that we're seeing as far as what people think might be bullets or other things going on within there, that we can get a professional, I would love to chat with you and get you on here. Charlie's skin stopping the bullet is even more sus. Yeah, I agree. Are we taking odds the kid has an Epstein?
I'm not taking that bet, dude.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's all you. That's all you, man.
Have not seen anyone comment on the clips I sent you, Zeb. Please check your DMs.
I'm assuming he's talking about entry. So there's a couple floating around. One's entry right at earlobe, one's entry right at ear hole, and one's entry behind the I guess the question is, what's his name on Twitter? Because it doesn't match anything here.
Well, here's the issue, guys, and I'm sure Zeb is facing the same issue. I am. I'm getting thousands of emails, hundreds of DMs, and I'm trying to go through them. And clearly, I guess you know which one you're talking about, right? You know which one?
I got it now. I know what he's talking about. Yeah, I've seen the clip. I would have responded prior to. Oh, he's pointing at a shirt popping up. I attribute that to vibrations, but I can't make a ton of sense to it, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I just don't see anything in that clip. He's talking about the there's a lot of anomalies. The problem is that video is just so low quality. Like, if you could find an original or something close to original, you would maybe have something, but it's just that one's not there. He's talking about the video off to Charlie's right.
Okay. Miss Jumpmaster says there's a video with a guy in a white shirt with a cell phone. He takes it at last minute. Look up ideal conceal 380 ACP cell phone. I've seen them. Here's the problem that I have with that. I see no indication of any sort of muzzle, not muzzle flash, but I don't see any indication of recoil whatsoever, right? So, and being able to shoot, I don't think people understand. Like, that person is probably 25, 30 feet away at least. And just to be able to like hold a gun and shoot it here and then hit Charlie exactly in the neck or anywhere on his person without hitting anybody else. Like shooting guns isn't like the Westerns, folks. Like you got to line those things up. And
yeah, I mean,
it's
extremely compact too. You're not, it's not even an accurate gun. 7-Pack said, this just in, Zeb thinks, I don't know, man. It's all just vibes. I mean, at a certain point, I guess it is. I mean, I just don't see it. Like if I get thousands of incoming emails, and I'm sure you are too, if I don't see anything there, then I just don't see anything there. What do you, I mean, you want me to make it appear? Like I just can't do that.
The problem is, folks, if you're going to send Zeb and I an email, what you got to do is not expect your bias confirmation. If you really want to know what we think, send it to us and we'll end up addressing it or not. And if we don't address it, we don't think anything's there. And I know that's going to hurt some people's feelings. And I know that everybody that's sending me a new email, it's like this, I got the same 5 or so emails resent 300 or 400 times, like literally. And every person thinks they came up with the newest, latest, great, like no one else is considering this. And I got 100 other emails that are saying the exact same thing. Now, I'm not discounting those. I still go through those as much as I can because I am looking like, hey, maybe there is something that I'm not noticing. So I'm not saying don't send me emails. Just know that if we don't bring up your theory or play your footage or whatever you said, it's because we don't see what you see. And, you know, that's just the way that it's going to be. And like, we can only do so much, right? And we can't, none of us are just going to make shit up because we want to please somebody or jump on your bandwagon. You're welcome to start a YouTube channel and you're welcome to present those facts. Diligent denizen analyzed Bartholomew Vita and found a person on the roof in the exact location Zeb mentioned, building and construction. There is somebody up there without a doubt. I agree with it. There's somebody on that spot.
So I've seen 2 of them. There's something there. It appears to move. I mean, it's just so far out you can't really tell. Again, I mean, I wouldn't try to make a call on that. I don't think does it move? Yes. Is it a person? I don't know. It's a hard call. And then there's also I've been sent the same video, I think, where there's a black object behind the bars that I was that kind of puts it there. I can't make out a person. Again, I'm gonna make a call if I just can't make it out, just to fit inside of the theory that I have.
Yeah. All right. This is, if you had to bet, what would you say happened? And what are your thoughts on Candace Owens? If you had a bet, what would you say happened? And what are your thoughts? Okay. I think I'm seeing double. I'm lost when it comes to explaining the ballistics. And I'm also not 100% sure why they wouldn't say he had body armor on if he didn't have body armor on. If he didn't have body armor on, I have a hard time explaining it. I gave you guys reasons as to why he could possibly have body armor on and them deny it. That part is speculation. What I do know, and I can tell you for a fact, there is custom thin body armor that's rated 3+ that would be very difficult to detect, that is custom fit and molded to a person. Do they include anatomy on there like nipples? I don't know, but it's a lot more plausible than a drone shooting someone or a camera phone or any of those other things. Also, those same people would say, you know, again, like if the narrative right now, the government narrative, the official narrative is that he wasn't wearing body armor. That seems strange to me. So take that for what it's worth. Candace Owens, I don't know, man. Like sometimes Candace Owens, I see Candace Owens on her opinions are bipolar AF, right? So 1 minute she's making perfect sense over here, and I really like Candace Owens a lot. And then the next minute she's somewhere in the realm of flat Earth territory, and that's all I can say. What's your thoughts, Seb?
I guess it's a little bit more in my ballpark. I mean, I probably need to get off of like naming names. But I mean, I have hours of footage basically doing that. Candace, I think she goes in the right direction a lot of times, and she gets probably where she should get, and just keeps going. I think a lot of times it's unnecessary where she continues on to, but
I have a real hard time believing that anyone from Turning Point USA sent her footage. I have a real hard time believing that.
I would agree with that.
And I also believe that if she did see that footage, she would not see Charlie Kirk's head. That camera was pretty far away, so that means they would have some sort of telephoto lens on there, because that camera was viewing the person asking questions. So they would probably have at least a 75 millimeter on there. I don't think that Charlie Kirk was even in view, but that's speculation. But going back to what I said, I don't think that anyone sent her that video. I have a hard time believing that.
I mean, I do too. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. There's a new video that shows him jumping off the roof. It's a longer video, but he doesn't have a weapon. He dropped his hat and picks it back up 3 steps later. So first of all, I would highly suggest the best breakdown of that, whether you believe him or not, is Gray Hughes. Gray Hughes Investigates. Go check out his channel. He does a really good logical analysis. You can end up believing or not believing his conclusions at the end of that or not. It's not his hat. It's most likely his glasses that he drops. I did not believe that what he had was a rifle in that video either. Gray Hughes points out some very interesting things. Like, for instance, it's so pixelated, and you look at his legs. His legs look like they're toothpicks or something, right? Like, and we know they're not, but what we see is a distortion. And then you do see something. There are frames that he freezes, and it looks like it is a rifle barrel, and a rifle fully intact. So go at least watch that. You can come to whatever conclusion you want, but that is a much better breakdown than I've seen anyone else. It's at least an argument that he does indeed have the rifle. So watch that and then decide. They stated that the spent casing was still in the rifle, so that proves it was never unassembled. No, it doesn't. Zeb, take that one.
Yeah, it's a bold action. I mean, you just unscrew the stock from the barrel, and the bolt stays in the side of the logged into the chamber, and so the round stays there. Yeah. Completely. I mean, there's not much disassembly to the rifle. It's 2 screwdrivers essentially, or two screws that you can undo with a screwdriver, and from there is just a barrel bolt, and then the stock is separate from that. Which I would also like to add. I only saw like really grainy footage of him jumping off the roof, but I would also like to add is a lot of people were pointing at the scope being mounted on the rifle and how that was that could have easily happened falling 20 feet from the roof. I don't think there's any issue.
You're saying it slid in the rings?
Sure. If it wasn't tight enough, it could have. Well, I don't think it slid in the rings. I think the mounts slid off of the mounting bracket, or at least that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah,
I have no issue with that.
There's a couple of, and one of the things I was talking about, I was telling people the other night, like we have students that show up to our long range courses that bring their own rifles, and they have some things that look worse than that. And I'm like, have you guys been, have you been using? Yeah, I've been shooting that thing for 3 or 4 years. I'm like, how did you shoot that? So while it looks weird, it's not, can't come to any conclusions based on.
Yeah, apparently they came out and say it didn't have a serial number too, because it was prior to serialization, which I think is insane. I mean, I haven't chased that down, but that just sounds like magic gun theory or something at this point.
Jody Carruthers says, does anyone think this could have been planned by someone within TPUSA? It's an awful thought.
I'm not addressing it.
What do you think?
I'm not addressing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an awful thought. We'll leave it at that. What do you think about Candace Owens? We covered it. Maybe 30-06 identified as a 22. They could. It's like wanted to be slimmer and smaller than it actually was. How do you get to force a passer to confess as if he was a shooter too? Do you think that the professional team is clandestine to the USA and thus legit trying not to get caught by the FBI? I mean, all that would be speculation. I don't. your guess is as good as mine, guys. Why the confusion of body armor? Does that change the narrative? What they want us to believe? Leave. It seems to be a huge character in the story. I think, for me, it's a little bit. It's like if there wasn't body armor, like there's more. It creates more unknowns that are harder to explain, and then we need. So it leaves a room. It leaves a lot of room open for alternative options. I think that's really what it comes down to. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Ultimately, is it that, the fact is if Zeb's right and we're getting some sort of evidence of rounds coming from the flanks, like, does that change anything? Not really. What's your thoughts on that, Zeb?
The problem is I don't believe any of the reports. And I don't even rule out body armor. I just don't think that we see it outside of that single front shot that looks like it. I think it looks like it hit center mass, but beyond that shot, I just don't see. I don't see any evidence for a ricochet. I feel like if you would hit body armor, you would see much more concussion around wherever it hit. It would look more like it hit center mass than it would if it hit the corner. And I guess to the question of the narrative, I haven't taken any reports into account at all.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers the question.
I don't know if it does either. I don't know if either one of us. Well, I mean, I just don't know if either one of us have that answer. For 30-06, any grain, any FPS, there would have been overpenetration for the neck. Paul Harrell video shoots tissues. There was a bulge to the back of his head. Can you touch on that again? Yeah, so there is a bulge. You could definitely see. I don't know if that, to me, that indicates a direction. But the fact is, his entire head is bulging. I have recently been sent some videos that show a much more elongated protrusion from the same freaking videos that I had early, like the day of the event, right? Now I'm getting the same videos, or it looks like the same video, and I am seeing, they're showing like this protrusion that almost looks like the tip of it almost looks comical. That on the early versions of that video, I did not see. So I'm either getting some brand new version that is just so much higher definition that now we're seeing things I couldn't see in the other videos. I find it very unlikely. I do feel like now we're at a point where we're seeing some manipulated footage one way or the other. And that would still, basically, I mean, it doesn't change what I believe. I think it does change Zeb's, what he's proposing. But I would say be very careful about any of the footage that's left. And the other thing, too, is we're seeing all the footage get scrubbed real quick. And then I find it weird that there's certain footage left and certain footage not. And I don't know. Your thoughts on that, Zeb?
Yeah, you could pull metadata from footage, but they can just run it back through. I mean, you can kind of fix metadata. I don't trust any new footage coming out, to be honest with you. I think it's been way too long. I mean, even beyond like 72 hours, I think it's too long. And then what was the other question?
I already left it. There was a bulge in the back of the head. Can you touch on that again?
Yeah, I would chalk that up to temporary cavity. I guess it depended on what exactly bulge you're talking about. I'm not even sure.
With the downward path, G accelerates projectile. That's not how it works. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, even in a vacuum, if you shoot straight down, it doesn't necessarily work.
It's 3 meters per second squared, right? So whatever the freaking for gravity is. My brain is burnt out right now. What makes the most sense is history repeating itself. We have a magic bullet. We do seem to have at least I don't know, magically influenced bullet. Do you see the smartphone pew pew footage from Salamandran YouTube channel? I have not.
People keep sending me that. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen it or not, to be honest with you. I don't think it changes anything, whatever it is, probably. I mean, I'll take a look at it.
All right. Brookie Cookie, do not give the trolls any recognition. Y'all are doing great. Thank you very much. We both agreed that we wouldn't give them any recognition. People are going to agree with us, disagree with us, critique us no matter what we do. And that's just the nature of this business. And that's fine. If you get up here, if you have the courage to get out here in front of a camera, expect a lot of stuff thrown at you. It's just, it is what it is. Wasn't 30-06 round. Was Winchester 308 leaked today from report? Yes. Question mark. Shorter round, more tumble.
No,
Tyler,
not enough to not penetrate, dude.
Yeah,
It
doesn't change very much. Is that confirmed? I haven't heard that. That they said it was 308, not 30-06. The report I saw.
I will tell you this. The initial image that they put out of the gun, I didn't think it was 30-06. I don't think it was chambered for 30-06. Now I can't confirm that because I don't have a gun to compare it to. But I think I guess it would be ejection port and a bolt. The ejection isn't long enough for a 30-06 cartridge. So you can carry that wherever you want to. I don't think it's long enough for ejection on a 30-06.
Take that one.
If we saw was an exit wound, that round would make a small, clean exit hole. If what we saw was an exit wound, what round would make a small, clean exit hole? I'm assuming he's talking about the actual, what I'm claiming is the exit hole.
Yes.
I think if I had to pin it, it's either going to be a subsonic 300 blackout or a subsonic 8.6 blackout. It's not necessarily the round itself as much as it is the speed. And so if you slow down the round, it's going to have a smaller exit hole because it doesn't have as much energy being pushed through. So it's not going to carry as much with it, along with the temporary cavity isn't going to expand through. If it's a slightly smaller temporary cavity, because there's just less energy. So you're not going to have the entire, the blowout that you wouldn't necessarily have with a, I don't know, 2,500 or 3,000 FPS round.
Yeah, folks, it's velocity kills. That's what does. So the statistics are about 70% of the people that are shot with a handgun live. It is the exact inverse with a rifle. So,
yeah, temporary cavity is damaged. Like that's your entire damage.
Yes.
Not entire, but it's the vast majority.
Yeah. I was trying to find a picture of the firearm, but I can't find it right now.
No, Google's wiping it. They're wiping it.
What's that?
They're wiping it.
Yeah.
They're wiping the picture.
Oh, no. I have one saved somewhere.
Okay.
And it wasn't in the folder that I thought it was. Why are situations like this never straightforward? Charlie, Butler, JFK, the list goes on. Things don't add up, and conspiracies, etc. I would imagine applying your skill sets in OEF was pretty straightforward business. I don't know if that's true, but the problem is you show a video, and the problem with all these situations, part of it is we have a lot more video, so we get a lot more information, which is good, right? So everybody has a phone in their pocket. They're all taking video. We get all of this information. And the problem is number one, each one of those perspectives that we see provides not only more information, but different information that you need to analyze and go through. And then the other problem that is complicated by that is that everyone that you show 100 people the exact same footage, they're at least 50% of them are going to see something different, right? So that's part of the reason. And the other part of the reason is like we don't trust the government, and rightfully so. And I don't know. You got anything to add to that?
Yeah. So like in like if you work in the medical field, you have something what's called a differential diagnosis, and so it's not a primary diagnosis, it's differential, right? It's a second guess, if you will. And so I think the same thing applies here. Is that yes, I see this, I think it's this, but it could also possibly be this other thing, which would be a differential diagnosis.
Thanks, Zeb and Gary. Good. I found Zeb through Gary. Good. Hopefully, number one, we will do some other things together. And on top of that, or at least I hope we will.
I'd love to. Yeah.
And yeah, Thank you guys. Zeb for POTUS, man. Now you're in politics.
I don't know, dude. Well, I mean, that's where I'm at. That's where I would like to be at. I think I have a lot to add to that conversation. But POTUS, I don't know. That's a little steep. I don't even think they would ever let that happen. So
Liz says
let's stay
I'm
away
a
from that one.
quintessential girly. I have no desire to get into politics. And women have an incessant need to feel safe, and you guys make me feel safe. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm gonna make some. Earlier today, when he sent me the thumbnail for this, I told Zeb, I was like, "Dude, you really got to get yourself some your own brand of beard and mustache balm."
Yeah. Well, this angle doesn't do any justice. Man, that light's too bright. I need to fix this setup. This is
it looks good.
Temporary, dude.
Looks great. Shot maybe came from drone. I think that it is very unlikely.
Have you seen that they found some dragonflies flying around in the footage, and some people were basically claiming that it was weaponized dragonflies or something.
You're talking about those classified
crazy.
DRGNFLI drones.
I guess.
They look like model 1422Gs to me. I wasn't exactly sure. But yeah, no, it's a little crazy.
Yeah, they've definitely they've evolved beyond the birds for sure.
And look, there's definitely small drones like that out there that, again, I have a hard time understanding why they would, end up moving those resources to this. This was a real issue during Butler, especially when all the footage dropped from the body cams of all the local police and sheriff's department, things like that. All that came out at once, and suddenly we saw all this flying phenomena. People thought they were seeing bullets fly by. They thought they were seeing drones in the air, literally, UAPs. And come to find out, after it was all said and done, people really were able to put some things together. They were either birds off in the distance or they were bugs. So bugs cause a real problem. And I do think, my perspective is, I think that, some of the stuff that we're seeing is bullets flying through the air. I do think they're bugs. And and I showed a video, there's video of lots of bugs flying around that tent area.
I agree. I think I tried to make that point. I agree there's bugs, and I just think they look like they move different. And so, I mean, we can take that, whatever, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah. We talked like 300 Black is definitely a good suspect when it comes to the weapon use, right? It's easy to conceal. You can have short barrels, still works well, still functions well. Zeb is covering that. He thinks it's either 300 Black or 86 Black. The U.S. Overwatch video used the same caliber, same distance. He actually didn't use the same caliber. He used 308, not 30-06, but I think it's close enough to get very close to kind of replicating what we would expect to see. It's a little bit slower. How many frames with the bullet? Which cameras go? I don't know right off the top of my head. I'm sure he doesn't either. Maybe you do.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess it would be camera one on mine would have 2 frames. It would be an alternate camera one would have 1 frame, and then you would have another frame from wherever they caught it off of his knee. If we're making that the assumption that it is a round, on top of it didn't necessarily catch the round, but the I guess the signature of breaking the sound barrier. So what's that? 5 or 6? Yeah. 2 cameras, primarily in HD video. Somebody asked if I was going to post that video. I've sent it out to a few people that have asked for it. If there's ever a website that gets established, like they have a Vegas website, I'll gladly post that wherever it needs to be.
JD, how has no one put on Charlie's shirt and a plate and a vest to see what it looks like? I don't want to see you hold up cardboard, because part of it is we don't know what plate or vest he could potentially be using. Again, I think it is a very, 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 very real possibility that he could be using some sort of custom body armor, given the resources that he had, given how important he was, and given the threat that he was under. I don't think that's unreasonable at all. Tribute video and memorial as a high quality close-up of Charlie under tent. Point and memorial stream. Thanks for what you guys do. You're welcome. This one's yours, man. Take it.
What are your chances they release more information once the investigation is over? What are your thoughts if no more is released? Again, yeah, I just don't care about the reporting. I don't care about the investigation or the information. People lie across the board. I mean, even if they're telling the truth, I would largely disregard it. I mean, I think I would still maintain my conclusion. Unless presented with more like actual evidence, but it's kind of hard to gauge that now.
It ended up when they finally released a medical report on Crooks. I went through that, and I can definitively say the conclusions from the medical examiner were incorrect. What he described was completely wrong, and I don't know if that was intentional or not. But like I said, I went through that piece by piece, and ballistically, he's just incorrect of entry wounds and a couple other things. And I don't have a good explanation for that, but it was wrong. I probably need to pull that back up and go that over with publicly. It's on Twitter somewhere. If you can get original file from one of the iPhones, I'd recommend listen to with AirPods, with headphones turned on, spatial audio was turned. It doesn't change anything, folks. I mean, I'm sure it's better if we had the original, but we're still missing highs and lows that you're just not going to get with these phones. And that's why if you're a content creator, folks, I have 12 microphones that I either take out and use. And even those, when I'm shooting firearms, completely alter the actual sound. Yeah. Like what I'm hearing in the real world, IRL, for all you freaking, whatever. And then what you're hearing in the video, vastly different. Like it's not even comparable. What are you going to say, Zeb?
Yeah, I would agree entirely. I don't think it matters at all whatsoever. No more white shirt guy question, please. Okay, so to address a white shirt, just like blanket. There's another video that got tossed around a lot later. The white shirt guy that kind of does like this. I'm sure you got the same thing that does like this, and we kind of address that. But the video shows him completely 90-degree talking to someone beside him when Charlie gets shot. So it's like he didn't hip fire and he didn't blind fire from looking at somebody else. So the white shirt guys, no.
Gary, the plate armor theory is the simplest explanation, but wouldn't Kirk's t-shirt show strong evidence of 30-06 impact plus an entry hole? And in that first video, I go over exactly what I do think is, I think exactly where I expected to see a hit. Like just based off the angle and where the entry wound was, I saw that. And then I zoomed down to his shirt. And folks, there is a black, doesn't look red. I don't think it's blood transfer. And here's the thing, it's perfectly circular. So if it was hitting something that had ballistic resistance, I'm not going to say steel. I don't think it probably was steel or even titanium. I think it was a thin composite that was 3+ rated. It hit that, but there is a circular black dot that is I can't explain it any other way. And it's exactly what I would see in the exact spot that I thought it would be. And you zoom in, you see it there. Now, a lot of people say, well, that was blood. The problem is that shirt is moving and it comes down. You can see the black dot exactly where I thought he was hit. And if it was blood, as that thing is going up, we would see it would be linear because it's in motion. It wouldn't just press up against his shirt. And now we take a print from a circular wound or whatever else, but it's just a perfect grayish black spot, and that's what I would expect to see. So I think there's evidence there for that, but you can watch the video and you can decide. All right, folks, we're going to blow through these. I'm going to try to get through them as quickly as possible. Zeb, I'm going to read one, you read the next one, and then we'll just go through them rapid fire, and we'll try to keep additional comments as pithy as possible. Get it.
Yep. Based on how many TP people that actually follow her on IG, that footage could be legit. Talking about Candace. Yeah, sure.
Rear left balcony and balcony behind the audio analysis have clear cracked thump, pointing shooter 47 to 50 yards away. Radii on all coverage and Zeb's theory of where shot came from. Sounds good. well, I think
You
we'll
have to
continue
assume. You have to
flesh-
assume FPS is the problem.
That's a great point. And yeah, I think we'll continue to flesh that out and revisit it. Thoughts on the bullet yaw slowed down penetration? What you think, Zeb?
No, I mean, y'all stabilizes at like 30. Yeah, no.
Frank Turget mentioned in an interview they performed CPR while they were transporting Charlie to the hospital. He did not mention body armor. Again, why would he?
Remove body armor. Yeah.
Like every time that, yeah, I don't know why you would. That's not definitive one way or the other. And especially if afterward, again, like here's the thing. I feel like there was almost a narrative cleanup. During that, the same guy got information that, yeah, he wears body armor all the time. A couple days later, he talks to them like, no, he's not wearing body armor. And then we have other confirmation that from the Megyn Kelly show that he wore body armor on a regular basis. But then we continue to have a narrative cleanup when we have Erica saying that she couldn't get him to wear body armor. So like there's a big discrepancy there that doesn't make sense to me.
From experience, speed, larger diameter helps with fragmentation and light rounds. Coyotes are out. Load up some 110. It's not the same as ballistics gel. Trust your eyes. Oh, it's not.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there was body armor, would there not have been more damage to the shirt at the point of impact? I don't think necessarily, especially if it's a soft. It's not soft, but this stuff right here, folks, it's hard. It will stop around. But one of the things, and again, this stuff is like 2 pounds. So if you take this, you squish this together, make this about, I don't know, a little over or around 1/4 of an inch. It still has some flex. So what we could see is that it still flexes right at the tip. And then again, we have a deflection upward. So we could almost see like a burn scorch mark that is directly through the fabric that does go upward. So it's hard to say what we indeed would or would not see. I do want to get some composite thin armor that's 3+, and then I will try to do a test and see if we can get some similarities or just see what we see.
I mean, I'll touch on just the material real quick. I can't dive into the body armor, but I know they're working on like material that is visibility destabilizing, meaning that I'm sure you've seen some of the shields that you can basically hide behind and it bends light. They're working on material that does that. So to say that something is, outside of the possibility of stopping at 3/06, I think it's a stretch. I don't think it's impossible. I mean, some of the stuff they're pushing out with material is like almost invisibility cloak, but I'll leave that there.
Yeah. Again, I think that, well, here's what we can say for sure. I can definitely show you thinner body armor that I think would stop a FMJ or soft point. And if it hit at the edge of this, like even this stuff, folks, if I hit at the very edge of this definitely would stop it. If I hit the very edge of this, it could still deflect it. So take that for what it is. Plan on recreating your theories with distance from different calibers. I don't know. We'll see. It's again, there's so many variables. It's tough to actually recreate. You could end up with really bad results.
Yeah. What are you going to recreate is a question.
Like, we have to get like really, we have to narrow down what it is we're trying to prove and then see if we can create the conditions that, even makes sense. Like, is this test even worth doing?
They stated the rifle was wrapped in a towel, but they posted a picture of the rifle in a box like he just bought it. Weird. Yeah, I mean, okay, they removed it from the towel and they stuck it on cardboard because they didn't want it to interfere with grass on the shot. I mean, yeah.
The other thing on that, folks, that picture was taken at night. They were clearly processing that scene for a really long time. So, from the time it happened, so there was at least a extended time delay, right? Whatever they were doing, I'm assuming it was still on scene. They were just taking their time. Maybe it was at the ATF. Maybe it was at the FBI office. I don't know. But clearly, and at the end of the day, you got to put it in something. So, maybe the ATF carries cardboard boxes around. I don't know. But it's also night.
Nobody knows what the ATF does. So.
Yeah. Wouldn't DA be able to disprove the weapon they are claiming the kid made his shot, or does corruption run so deep this prevent,
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. Did I lose you? Am I frozen?
no, you're good on my end.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I was just saying. I mean, again, it's quasi reporting. It's not going to matter.
Yeah. Take it.
To your point, eliminating theories, a psi method. Consider everything but critical thinking is tantamount.
Yeah.
Right.
Erica's message was very moving. Amazing she could forgive. Sad to hear doctors say even if he was in the ER, he would not have survived, and he did not suffer. Think we will ever hear official bullet trajectory? We are Charlie. We don't know because we can't tell the future. Take it.
The location of speaker, speed of sound, and the temperature, altitude are known. The audio evidence places the shooter off to Charlie's left.
Well, that's a new one.
I'm assuming if you're looking at Charlie, they mean off to Charlie's left from like a camera 2 or 3. I don't know. Again, it's audio.
Thank you. Thank you both for your assessments. We as a country in Christ, intelligent citizens who are questioning events the public's not accepting the normal narrative, ask questions is crucial. You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah. All right. We got about 5 minutes left here, and I'm gonna let Zeb get out of here. I'm gonna go through and just rapid fire some ones out of the live. Excuse me, I got the black lung. I'm in West Virginia. I think it's a fact that he was a white Christian man trying to strike a dialogue with the other side. His murder was done to strike chaos. That's possible. This one's for you on random. Take it.
Zeb, you make the most sense. That is why they are coming to you. You're spot on. Appreciate it, Carrie. I mean, that's all I'm trying to do is just trying to make sense of it.
The only explanation for the blast is a squib. The wound doesn't even show up until after he feels the impact. It's obvious he didn't use armor. He was shot. He is alive. They faked his death. I think out of all the theories, that is the most preposterous.
Yeah, I don't even know how you get there. I don't even know how you get to squib theory.
Doesn't seem like he looks at much evidence. No one cares about the body armor. Fine, cool. I don't even know who that's directed at.
I mean, I think some of the evidence does point towards body armor, and I mentioned that several times. I just don't. I think some of it points away. Enough of it, obviously.
I believe the podcast we're live streaming. Obviously, the college events where I'm shocked that unless I missed it, you aren't talking about Candace viewing the camera footage from behind Charlie. We did talk about that. I don't think his podcasts were live streamed. They were produced. There's cuts. There's like I don't know which like there's his events that he does out at campuses, which I don't think are live streamed, and then he has the Charlie Kirk show, which also I don't think is live streamed, because again there's cuts all throughout, and there's different ads that are cut in there. So I don't know what you mean by that. Folks, if you haven't liked or subscribed, do that. I always forget to say it. Who cares? You'll do it on your own. There you go.
Yeah, so I've gotten this a few times too. You don't know how evil these people are. Symbolism is big with them. I mean, I wouldn't disagree, depending on who you're talking about, who them is, but also, I mean, I would just chalk that up to in the same file as reporting. I largely don't care at this point.
Why would another country choose the worst possible way to get rid of him? LOL. He doesn't have 24/7 watch. You just get him in the middle of the night in bed. I kind of fall back to that as well. One I keep trying to grab and it keeps moving on me. Take that one.
Surgeon autopsy indicates no exit. Bullet still in flesh, skull bone. Did they say skull bone? Hard time understanding the barrage of so-called camera coverage and cover up by the police, FBI, and updates and report. Yeah, it's just going to be inconsistent across the board until they all get on the same page. I don't know what's actually going on up there, but it's troubling incompetence, to be honest with you.
It's some civilian non-military widow calling out stolen valor. F the civilian cheerleaders and the pom-poms they shake. LOL, you stayed home, go and listen, do something. Blue Falcon. I don't even know what he's referencing. I don't really care. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's people are going to talk smack. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
And I wasn't being dismissive of your comment. I think whoever that was, I already clicked off of it, but I wasn't being dismissive
you're
of your
fine.
comment.
Yeah. You're fine.
I'm saying the person that commented there that I showed, I wasn't being dismissive of him. I was being dismissive of the people that he was referencing because it sounded like he was trying to, I don't know,
calm people
defend us,
down,
which I appreciate. Rick Jackson, you do know you control chat speed with your finger by touching your phone screen and scrolling up or down. All right, I don't know who that is. My theory is she was sniped. Sniped has 1 P from the rooftop and steel plate he was wearing had a chest curve and the bullet bounced off the corner into his jugular. At least that, no matter what anybody says, that is extremely plausible. I don't care what anybody says. The only explanation for the blast is a squib. We already hit that one. Somehow I went up. These things are moving up.
The only explanation for a blast is a squib. That wound doesn't even show up until after he feels the impact. It's obvious. Oh, you already mentioned.
Yeah. It keeps going back to that one too. I'm trying to grab new ones, and it keeps moving up on me.
Tiffany asked how to get information to me. Just find me on Twitter. Zeb Boykin, DM me, and
oh yeah, folks, I meant to mention this at the beginning. In the description below is a link to Zeb's Twitter and his YouTube channel. Zeb, do you have any other socials that people should follow you on?
No, that's fine. All of my links to socials will be in YouTube description also, so they can find it from there. And primarily it's Twitter and YouTube. So at least while YouTube will have me.
I hate that we are forced to rely on these guys for truth. I'm so happy they're here, but the government should be doing this. Yeah, well, I don't know what else to say about the government. I've said enough on this. Like, don't believe the government. And then there is some truth to, like, at the end of the day, the odds are whatever. There are times when the government tells the truth because it's the only thing left to be told. So you still have to, like, here's what I see. Hopefully I can articulate this well. If the government came out and told the exact truth of what was going on here and was able to explain all this stuff away, there are some people that are so biased against the government, and trust me, I understand, that they're going to say, no, that's not true, and they're going to go with something else. And we could have evidence for everything there, but you're going to choose something else because of bias that has a lot less evidence. That is not logical. And what we have to do is we need to kind of assess these things intellectually, take a look at the evidence, and stick with that, and then come to a conclusion. If that happens to line up with the government narrative, great. If it happens to line up with something else, great. And I would love nothing more than us to be able to say, look, guys, this proves right here that the government is constantly lying to you. I don't care if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, you're a liberal, you're conservative. Like, my answer is still the same thing. Regardless if they finally come out and start being transparent, still don't trust the government. They don't have your best interests at heart most of the time. And that is my message I want to leave everybody with. All right, folks, we've gone 3 hours, and I'm going to leave the last word to Zeb.
Zeb? I appreciate you for having me. And like I said, I'm completely open to all kind of criticism. I think, and I'm perfectly willing to change my position when that time comes, if it's presented to me. But again, thank you for reaching out to me. Definitely most recommended. And obviously you have a lot of viewership behind you, so that, that lends that credibility to it. And again, appreciate you for your service. Thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, man. Same thing goes back to you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you're doing. And I'd love to do some more stuff together. And yeah, we'll see what that looks like. But you got my cell phone, I got yours, and I already posted your cell phone down in the link description below. Just joking. Folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for keeping it civil. And yeah, man, appreciate everybody watching, all the likes, all the subscribes, all the support. Go support Zeb as well. And yeah, I don't know. Stay armed, stay ready, and we'll talk to you soon.